Chapter 23-21. Execution. From the beginning, although Yen Ke had made his move as well, he had only suppressed Lin Yi with his demonic dragon. But as a genuine half-step divine demon that had already understood some rules of order, he had more up his sleeve. Finally, Yen Ke was giving it his all. Little Wu Shuang, watch out. Half-step divine demon experts are strong. Lin Yi reminded him. Lin Yi had some grudges. Why couldn't Jian Wushuang simply agree to Yen Ke's request? From Lin Yi's perspective, many geniuses are rushing to join big sects like the Water Fairy Island, but Jian Wushuang had discarded the opportunity. During such a crisis, if he had agreed, there would have been no more trouble. But now they had to go against a half-step divine demon expert giving his all. We can only hope that the Lin clan experts reach us in time. Lin Yi clenched his fists. He had already transmitted for help when they were intercepted, but reinforcements needed time to arrive. A half-step divine demon is indeed strong, but with my own powers and the help from little Wu Shuang, we should be able to hold on. Lin Yi thought. But at that moment, Jian Wushuang looked at Lin Yi. Uncle Lin Yi, I cannot handle a half-step divine demon. I'll leave it to you. Leave it to me? Lin Yi was stunned and thought, if you knew you couldn't handle him, why were you so arrogant? Jian Wushuang naturally knew what Lin Yi was thinking and smiled. Don't worry, is only a half-step divine demon. With your abilities, you can kill him easily. Lin Yi was even more furious. Killing a half-step divine demon easy? What a joke. Jian Wushuang whispered something. Uncle Lin Yi, listen to me, just demonstrate your deadliest sword move. Lin Yi looked at Jian Wushuang, confused, unaware of his motives. He only wanted to tangle with Yen Ke for a while longer while reinforcements came. He needed to preserve divine power, but Jian Wushuang wanted him to use his strongest sword move. He had his doubts, but he made a decision and chose to listen to Jian Wushuang. Let's try it then. If I can't fight it, I can still escape, and it is Jian Wushuang that will die. Lin Yi hesitated no more. Wang, a powerful sword essence, swept the area as the shapeless sword essence formed a huge sword essence storm. Lin Yi was at the center of that storm, turning into a sharp sword himself. The swordsmanship had not been performed yet, but the sword momentum was there. Lin Yi squinted his eyes as he looked extremely cold. The void around him turned chilly. Such a great sword essence, I tell be strong. Jian Wushuang smiled. He could feel that Lin Yi's sword move was going to be extraordinary, and thus he made preparations as well. Jian Wushuang did not move, and nor did his Blood Mountain sword, but in his mind, a great soul power was precipitating. After reincarnation, even though Jian Wushuang had had to retrain his cultivation base, his soul was intact. His soul was not damaged, and its power was still at chaotic realm pinnacle levels, perhaps even half-step divine demon. As long as his cultivation base was restored to chaotic divine demon levels, his soul power would ascend accordingly. Half-step divine demon's soul power was being mobilized by Jian Wushuang. In the void, Lin Yi's sword was finally formed and charged. A bright sword light could be seen, so glaring and dazzling people could not help but close their eyes. The move was so powerful, it could have split the earth. After it left Lin Yi's hand, the sword cut through the void and appeared in front of Yen Quebec. The huge sword essence storm followed the sword light as well. It was a powerful sword. From Jian Wushuang's perception, it was as strong as a half-step divine demon's full blow. It should have been easy to kill peak chaotic realm experts, but not half-step divine demons directly. At least to Lin Yi, his direct blow could not do much. Yen Ke laughed in disdain as he saw Jian Wushuang make his move as well. A firefly, like you dares to contend with the light of the sun?" Yen Ke said coldly, and released his divine power, preparing to destroy Lin Yi's sword. But at that moment, Jian Wushuang in the void had a sudden murderous intent in his eyes. Soul's secret skill, 3 divine lights. Xiao, a golden beam, completely precipitated from soul power and rushed over at an incredible speed. The golden beam was murky. No one could have spotted it if one did not look closely. It was demonstrated slower than Lin Yi's sword, but before the sword struck, the murky sword light had already struck Yen Quebec. The soul power within that golden beam struck Yen Ke's soul directly. Yen Ke was a half-step divine demon with strong soul power, but without any precautions. His soul was deeply hurt as well. Ah! A painful scream was let out by Yen Ke as the divine power he had gathered now dissipated. Yen Ke's eyes were in a frenzy, hands over his head. It was obvious that the person was in great pain. Yen Ke was no longer able to dodge Lin Yi's sword light. Hung! The terrifying sword light struck Yen Ke's holy body without obstruction. Yen Ke was a half-step divine demon, but without demonstrating any ways to block it, it was impossible to block such a terrifying sword directly. Yen Ke's holy body blasted open and started collapsing. After a moment, the half-step divine demon from Water Fairy Island was dead. Chapter 23-22, his words, dead. He's dead. Lin Yi froze there completely. He could not believe that the half-step divine demon Yen Ke had died under his sword. No matter how strong his sword was, the half-step divine demon expert could not have stood there and simply absorbed the hit without any resistance. But that had just happened. It's a soul attack. Yen Ke was stuck with a terrifying soul attack, and it came from Lin Yi looked at Jian Wushuang. It was because Jian Wushuang's soul attack had immobilized Yen Ke, giving him the opportunity to kill him. How? Little Wushuang is only a pure sun realm. How did he manage to do such a terrifying soul attack? Lin Yi was shocked. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang was indeed a pure sun realm expert in terms of cultivation base, but his soul power was stronger than that of a peak chaotic realm like him. A sudden golden light scripture from the 3 divine lights performed by Jian Wushuang was what caught Yen Ke by surprise. It's a pity that the soul-swallowing pearl did not follow me through reincarnation. If not, that soul attack would have done much more than injure. Jian Wushuang said quietly. In his previous life, his soul attacks had been extremely powerful and had had his soul-swallowing pearl to complement it. The soul-swallowing pearl was powerful and had helped with Jian Wushuang's soul attacks immensely. Unfortunately, when his master had sent him down the reincarnation passage, only his soul, the Blood Mountain Sword, and the Mountain River map had followed. Even now, he had no clue where the Mountain River map was. Other treasures like the 5-gem armor, the soul-swallowing pearl, the 5-fire godly spirit mirror, and more were all left back at the eternal chaotic world. Uncle Lin Yi, Yen Ke's dead, but he's a half-step divine demon. After all, check the Qian Kuan ring, Jian Wushuang said. Qian Kuan ring? Lin Yi's eyes lit up. A half-step divine demon from a big sect like the Water Fairy Island was bound to possess lots of treasures. But Lin Yi frowned immediately and said, Little Wushuang, I did not do much in killing Yen Quebec. It was your soul attack. The items in Yen Ke and the other 4 chaotic realm experts' Qian Kuan rings should belong to you. No, I'm only a pure sun realm. I cannot kill a half-step divine demon. Yen Ke was killed by you only. The other 4, as well, you understand. Uncle Lin Yi? Jian Wushuang looked at Lin Yi right in the eyes. Lin Yi understood what Jian Wushuang was trying to do. Jian Wushuang did not want too much attention. After all, a pure sun realm taking down 4 chaotic realm experts with 1 sword and seriously injuring a half-step divine demon with 1 soul attack would bring attention not only from Anzhou Commandery, but from the entire Wuxia Baron region. Jian Wushuang had already gained much attention within the Anzhou Commandery for his name. If word of what had just happened spread, countless experts would have their eyes on him. Understood. I know what to do. I won't spill a word about what happened today. Even if the Lin family head asks, I'll insist I did it alone. Lin, he said. Jian Wushuang had helped his sword principal achieve a breakthrough previously. Lin, he was grateful to Jian Wushuang. He knew that Jian Wushuang was in a tough spot, of course, and he would help Jian Wushuang wherever he could. Thank you, Uncle Linny. Jian Wushuang smiled. 4 Yen-Ks and the other 4 experts' Qian Kuan ring. The items inside all belong to you. If I could have some elixir that boosts divine power or some natural treasures, that would be great. No problem. Linny nodded. Immediately, he searched through the Qian Kuan rings. He sorted them out with Jian Wushuang. Experts from big clans like the Water Fairy Island, Yen-K indeed possessed much richer treasures. There were 3 nature treasures in total. Lin Yi was elated upon its discovery, but Jian Wushuang could not have cared less. Jian Wushuang only wanted the elixirs that improved divine power. Soon, they sorted out the treasures. Little Wushuang, let's wait. The reinforcements will arrive soon. Lin Yi said. Okay, Jian Wushuang nodded. They waited quietly along the mountain range. Xiao, xiao, xiao. Countless flowing lights arrived at amazing speeds and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and Lin Yi. Head, Lin Yi said. Lin Yi, what happened? Weren't you being intercepted by Zhuge family experts? Where are they? Lin Taifeng asked. Head, we were indeed intercepted. The opponents were 4 chaotic realms and 1 half-step divine demon. But the half-step divine demon was not as strong as I thought. The enemy was too reckless and died under my sword, including the 4 chaotic realms. Lin, he said directly. Those were the words he had thought of previously. Without a doubt, Lin Taifeng began questioning him. You mean you killed the half-step divine demon? Lin Taifeng would believe he had killed those 4 chaotic realms. But Lin Yi alone, taking down a half-step divine demon? He could never believe that. Yes, Lin Yi replied. He knew Lin Taifeng would not believe it, but he said it anyway. Jian Wushuang added, Uncle Lin, the half-step divine demon indeed died by Uncle Lin Yi's hand. He achieved a breakthrough in sword principle after the meditation, crossing over the threshold of sword principle. He already has half-step divine demon powers. The opponent underestimated Uncle Lin Yi from the very beginning. Although he had his doubts, as Lin Taifeng looked across the battlefield, the void had been filled with Lin Yi's sword essence. Along with Jian Wushuang's testimony, Lin Taifeng finally managed to believe some of it. Chapter 23-22, his words, dead, he's dead. Lin Yi froze there completely. He could not believe that the half-step divine demon Yen-K had died under his sword. No matter how strong his sword was, the half-step divine demon expert could not have stood there and simply absorbed the hit without any resistance. But that had just happened. It's a soul attack. Yen-K was stuck with a terrifying soul attack, and it came from Lin Yi looked at Jian Wushuang. It was because Jian Wushuang's soul attack had immobilized Yen-K, giving him the opportunity to kill him. How? Little Wushuang is only a pure sun realm. How did he manage to do such a terrifying soul attack? Lin Yi was shocked. What he did not know was that Jian Wushuang was indeed a pure sun realm expert in terms of cultivation base, but his soul power was stronger than that of a peak chaotic realm like him. A sudden golden light scripture from the 3 divine lights performed by Jian Wushuang was what caught Yen-K by surprise. It's a pity that the soul-swallowing pearl did not follow me through reincarnation. If not, That soul attack would have done much more than injure, Jian Wushuang said quietly. In his previous life, his soul attacks had been extremely powerful and had had his soul-swallowing pearl to complement it. The soul-swallowing pearl was powerful and had helped with Jian Wushuang's soul attacks immensely. Unfortunately, when his master had sent him down the reincarnation passage, only his soul, the Blood Mountain Sword, and the Mountain River map had followed. Even now, he had no clue where the Mountain River map was. Other treasures like the 5-gem armor, the soul-swallowing pearl, the 5-fire godly spirit mirror, and more were all left back at the eternal chaotic world. Uncle Lin Yen Kei's dead, but he's a half-step divine demon. After all, check the Qian Kuan ring, Jian Wushuang said. Qian Kuan ring? Linny's eyes lit up. A half-step divine demon from a big sect like the Water Fairy Island was bound to possess lots of treasures. But Lin Yi frowned immediately and said, "Little Wushuang, I did not do much in killing Yen Quebec. It was your soul attack. The items in Yen Kei and the other 4 chaotic realm experts' Qian Kuan rings should belong to you. No, I'm only a pure sun realm. I cannot kill a half-step divine demon. Yen Kei was killed by you only. The other 4, as well, you understand. Uncle Lin Yi?" Jian Wushuang looked at Lin Yi right in the eyes. Lin Yi understood what Jian Wushuang was trying to do. Jian Wushuang did not want too much attention. After all, a pure sun realm taking down 4 chaotic realm experts with 1 sword and seriously injuring a half-step divine demon with 1 soul attack would bring attention not only from Anzhou Commandery, but from the entire Wuxia Baron region. Jian Wushuang had already gained much attention within the Anzhou Commandery for his name. If word of what had just happened spread, countless experts would have their eyes on him. Understood. I know what to do. I won't spill a word about what happened today. Even if the Lin family head asks, I'll insist I did it alone. Lin Yi said. Jian Wushuang had helped his sword principal achieve a breakthrough previously. Lin Yi was grateful to Jian Wushuang. He knew that Jian Wushuang was in a tough spot, of course, and he would help Jian Wushuang wherever he could. Thank you, Uncle Linny. Jian Wushuang smiled. 4 Yen Keis and the other 4 experts' Qian Kuan ring. The items inside all belong to you. If I could have some elixir that boosts divine power or some natural treasures, that would be great. No problem. Linny nodded. Immediately, he searched through the Qian Kuan rings. He sorted them out with Jian Wushuang. Experts from big clans like the Water Fairy Island, Yen Kei indeed possessed much richer treasures. There were 3 nature treasures in total. Lin Yi was elated upon its discovery, but Jian Wushuang could not have cared less. Jian Wushuang only wanted the elixirs that improved divine power. Soon, they sorted out the treasures. Little Wushuang, let's wait. The reinforcements will arrive soon. Lin Yi said. Okay, Jian Wushuang nodded. They waited quietly along the mountain range. Xiao, xiao, xiao. Countless flowing lights arrived at amazing speeds and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang and Lin Yi. Head, Lin Yi said. Lin Yi, what happened? Weren't you being intercepted by Zhuge family experts? Where are they? Lin Taifeng asked. Head, we were indeed intercepted. The opponents were 4 chaotic realms and 1 half-step divine demon. But the half-step divine demon was not as strong as I thought. The enemy was too reckless and died under my sword, including the 4 chaotic realms. Lin Yi said directly. Those were the words he had thought of previously. Without a doubt, Lin Taifeng began questioning him. You mean you killed the half-step divine demon? Lin Taifeng would believe he had killed those 4 chaotic realms. But Lin Yi alone, taking down a half-step divine demon? He could never believe that. Yes, Lin Yi replied. He knew Lin Taifeng would not believe it, but he said it anyway. Jian Wushuang added, Uncle Lin, the half-step divine demon, indeed died by Uncle Lin Yi's hand. He achieved a breakthrough in sword principle after the meditation, crossing over the threshold of sword principle. He already has half-step divine demon powers. The opponent underestimated Uncle Lin Yi from the very beginning, although he had his doubts. As Lin Taifeng looked across the battlefield, the void had been filled with Lin Yi's sword essence. Along with Jian Wushuang's testimony, Lin Taifeng finally managed to believe some of it. Chapter 23-24 Returning to Incineration Moon City, the governor's mansion. Zhuo Yunfeng, Luo Xinqin, and many guards and servants had received news of Jian Wushuang's return and were waiting for him at the gate. Father, mother, Jian Wushuang bowed to the parents of his current life. Ha! It's been almost 4 years, boy. You've grown taller. Zhuo Yunfeng looked at Jian Wushuang and smiled. Not just taller, more mature. Luo Xinqin smiled as she squeezed Jian Wushuang's cheeks. Jian Wushuang was comforted. Regardless of the Zhuo Yunfeng couple of this life, or the Jian Nantian couple of his previous, they were all his closest family. Brother Lin Ao is here as well? Zhuo Yunfeng noticed the 2 Lin family experts that had escorted Jian Wushuang. Thank you so much. No problem. The young lord has helped the Lin family quite a bit during this period of time. It's natural we return the favor. Orders from our head, Lin Ao said. You're too kind, Zhuo Yunfeng replied. Brother Zhuo. Lin Yi's gaze turned solemn. To be honest, I was the only one escorting him back today. But little Wushuang was intercepted by Zhuge family experts. Luckily, we survived. Lin Ao followed us afterwards as a safety precaution. Intercepted. Zhuo Yunfeng's face changed. Intercepted by a half-step divine demon. It was serious. Lin Ao said. Zhuo Yunfeng's frown grew deeper. Luo Xinqin beside asked Jian Wushuang worriedly, Shuang, are you okay then? Of course, thanks to Uncle Lin. Jian Wushuang smiled. We are grateful. Zhuo Yunfeng thanked them once again. After they exchanged greetings, Zhuo Yunfeng wanted to invite Lin Yi and Lin Ao to stay for a few days, but Jian Wushuang dragged them to a corner. I have something I would like the 2 of you to help with. Jian Wushuang asked humbly. No problem. Lin Yi was impressed by Jian Wushuang's skills and agreed immediately. The both of you should leave the Incineration Moon City immediately, but don't go too far. Come back quietly at night and hide within the Incineration Moon City. Jian Wushuang said. Little Wushuang, you mean Lin Yi and Lin Ao looked at Jian Wushuang. They understood Jian Wushuang's intentions. If the Zhuge family tried to kill me once, they will try again. Although I'm safe with my father at the Incineration Moon City as a safety precaution, I hope both of you will stay for a month, no longer than that. If the Zhuge family does not make their move by then, they probably will not anymore. If they do, at least you can help me, Jian Wushuang said. Understood. Lin Mansion should be safe by the end of the month anyway. We'll stay in the city for a month, Lin Ao said directly. Thank you both, but please be careful, Jian Wushuang said. Understood. Lin Yi and Lin Ao replied and left. Soon, under the gaze of many, they left the city openly. But not long after, they returned without a trace. Within the governor's mansion, the Zhuo Yunfeng couple and Jian Wushuang gathered together. Shuang, how have you been these 4 years? Zhuo Yunfeng asked. Not bad. They took care of me well. I ate well, slept well. Jian Wushuang smiled. Rascal, who asked you about that? How's your cultivation? Zhuo Yunfeng laughed as he scolded him. As his father, Zhuo Yunfeng was most concerned with Jian Wushuang's abilities and speed of growth. Luo Xinqin could not have cared less for those, as long as Jian Wushuang was happy. My cultivation base improved quite a bit, and my sword principle as well, Jian Wushuang said, as a divine power aura was released from him. This is pure sun realm? Zhui Yinfeng was shocked. How could it be? When you left, you were only an early transformed god, but you reached pure sun realm levels in 4 years. What Zhui Yinfeng did not know was that Jian Wushuang had concealed his divine power, releasing only early pure sun realm levels. If Zhui Yinfeng knew he had already reached mid-pure sun realm levels, he would have been even more shocked. I got lucky, Jian Wushuang said casually. Rascal, you surprise me by the day. If you didn't show your divine power aura, even I could not have guessed. What kind of aura concealment skill did you learn? Zhui Yinfeng asked. I learned it a long time ago within the mansion, but I forgot what skill was it. It's good though, Jian Wushuang smiled. Is it? Zhui Yinfeng had his doubts. The secret skills within the mansion were all his, but he did not recall one with such powerful aura concealment skills. Jian Wushuang did not explain further. He had roamed the world for 100,000 years in his past life, learning countless skills, the aura concealment skill included. Even true divine demons would not be able to tell if he did not reveal his aura himself. Forget it, I will not ask too much. But what happened on the way back? Why was there a half-step divine demon going after you? Zhui Yinfeng frowned. Luo Xinqin looked over as well. Jian Wushuang briefly recounted what had happened at the Lin mansion without concealing anything, including the part where he had defeated Zhuge Hong. That's what happened. Huh? Zhui Yunfeng's face darkened. The Zhuge family and Lin family had been fighting for years. Now that the Zhuge family is finally slightly stronger than the Lin family, along with Zhuge Hong, I think they are about to finally make their move. Chapter 23-25, Chaotic Realm as a half-step divine demon expert. Zhui Yunfeng had seen much of the world. He knew in an instant what the Zhuge family was planning. Shuang, you did right this time, Zhui Yunfeng said. Lin Taifeng and I are blood-sworn brothers. If the Lin family is in trouble, I would help no matter what. You did the right thing defeating Zhuge Hong there. Jian Wushuang shrugged his shoulders. He knew his father well. If I'm not wrong, the Zhuge family will make their move soon. If they dare to attack me, it means that they were prepared. Even if you help the Lin family. Father, I'm afraid it won't change much, Jian Wushuang said. And if they come, you may die along with the Lin family. Looks like I need to restore my own powers as soon as possible. My cultivation base should at least be at the chaotic realm level in order to fight the Zhuge family. Jian Wushuang knew clearly that without his soul attack, he would struggle against a peak chaotic realm expert. Zhuge family could simply send a half-step divine demon to kill him. He could not influence the battle with his fighting power. But if he restored his chaotic realm cultivation base, things would be different. If I train normally, it'll take me 4 to 5 years to go from middle pure sun realm to early stage chaotic realm. But with the elixirs and natural treasures by my side, I should improve fast enough. I can only hope it'll be faster than the Zhuge family. Jian Wushuang's gaze flashed with a ray of fine light. Afterwards, Jian Wushuang stayed in the governor's mansion, improving his divine power with the elixirs and natural treasures. At the same time, Lin Yi and Lin Ao remained hiding within the incineration moon city in case anything happened within the governor's mansion. A month passed, and the mansion remained peaceful. Guess the Zhuge family is not so stupid after all. Jian Wushuang sat in his room, reading a jade bamboo strip. He had guessed that the Zhuge family would not attack him for a second time after the first failure. It would be too difficult for them. But as a safety precaution, Jian Wushuang had still requested that Lin Yi and Lin Ao stay for an extra month, but it was obviously in vain. After a month passed, Lin Yi and Lin Ao naturally left the incineration moon city and returned back to the Lin mansion. Jian Wushuang remained peaceful and continued to improve his divine power cultivation base. Time passed. In a flash, 3 years passed. Jian Wushuang became 19 years old that year. In the absolute beginning divine world, that made him an adult. In a secret room within the governor's mansion, Jian Wushuang sat alone with his eyes shut as strong divine power surrounded him. The divine power was converging towards him wildly, striking the barrier within his own body. In 2 hits, the barrier collapsed. He had had a breakthrough. Jian Wushuang's divine power and holy body had begun to change. Chaotic realm, am finally here. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, evidently surprised. He now possessed early-stage chaotic realm powers, equivalent to Asur gods, but Jian Wushuang was still far from his pinnacle cultivation base. But it was enough to delight him. The leap between the pure sun realm and the chaotic realm was a big one. Crossing it meant Jian Wushuang's abilities would leap forward as well. More importantly, he could now learn many secret skills. I thought it would take me 3 to 4 years, and indeed it took exactly 3 years. Faster than I had imagined. Jian Wushuang thought with a smile. If he allowed Zhuo Yunfeng to know his cultivation base, he would be shocked. Jian Wushuang had shown him an early pure sun realm cultivation base, but if he were to jump to chaotic realm just 3 years later, the cultivating speed, it would be mind-blowing. The entire Anzhou Commandery, or even the Wuxia Baron region, had not heard of anyone reaching chaotic realm levels before the age of 20. But now Jian Wushuang had done it. Of course, Jian Wushuang could reach those levels only because his own cultivation base had long ago reached divine demon levels. He was simply restoring divine power. As long as he had enough divine power, he could break through without any trouble. In terms of the accumulation of divine power, the absolute beginning divine world's spiritual influence of heaven and earth was rich, in addition to his perfect chaotic life-form body absorbing them at terrifying speeds, along with more elixirs and natural treasures. Reaching chaotic realm at the age of 19 seemed normal. If he continued to recover at that speed, he would restore his chaotic divine demon levels within a decade. But after he stepped into divine demon levels, his cultivating speeds would slow down. In the previous life, as an inverse cultivator, when I first stepped into chaotic realm levels, my divine power was strong enough to fight against peak chaotic realms. Along with the explosive power granted by my bloodline of ancient clan, my powers were even stronger than those of peak chaotic realm experts. But in this life, although I no longer possess the bloodline of ancient clan as a perfect chaotic life form, my divine powers, Jian Wushuang murmured as he clenched his right fist, accumulating an explosive power. Jian Wushuang punched the nearby void. Pung! A violent wind-crackling sound could be heard as the space within the void rippled subtly. This power should be good against a half-step divine demon. Jian Wushuang was pleased. He had just stepped into the chaotic realm, but his divine powers now rivaled a half-step divine demon? How? And am not a complete perfect chaotic life form yet. When I reach my pinnacle state as a chaotic divine demon, I wonder how terrifying it'll be. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists in anticipation. Chapter 23-26. 5 Great Secret Skills. Part 1. Upon reaching chaotic realm levels, Jian Wushuang's power went through dramatic changes. If he encountered the half-step divine demon, Yan Ke, even without Lin, he could easily kill him with his own power. After all, with his rules of power along with his sword principle understanding, as long as his divine powers could demonstrate half-step divine demon levels, he could easily kill Yen Quebec. After reaching chaotic realm levels, he could start training many secret skills as well. The secret skills referred to the 6 great secret skills his master had left in his head after he had been reincarnated. The most powerful secret skill of the 6 was his master's heaven slaughter skill. As the first perfect chaotic life form, how powerful would Xian Yi's self-created heaven slaughter skill be? He dare not speculate before he trained it. The qualifications for the heaven slaughter skill were too high. He needed to reach chaotic divine demon levels first. So he could only train the 5 great secret skills from the 7-star Black Sect. They were the secret skill of 7 stars, 9-star armor, Punisher God, Exquisite Pagoda, and the Body of Eternity. The 5 great secret skills had had a great reputation during 7-star Black Sect's prime. All 5 secret skills were extremely powerful, and countless experts craved it. But as the 7-star divine realm perished, and the remaining experts stuck at the 7-star divine realm, the 5 great secret skills were no longer to be seen on the absolute beginning divine world. But Jian Wushuang now possessed all 5 of them. In the secret room, Jian Wushuang started analyzing it. He had analyzed it before, so he already understood most of it. First was the secret skill of 7 stars. He was most familiar with this secret skill. The secret skills of Star Palace he had trained in the eternal chaotic world had originated from this secret skill of 7 stars and had depended heavily on it to escape from life and death situations. But the secret skills of Star Palace and the true secret skill of 7 stars were obviously different. The secret skills of Star Palace had been passed down in the eternal chaotic world after his master Xian Yi's modification. The eternal chaotic world lacked the willpower of Heaven Wei, and therefore the balance of much could be disrupted. With the secret skills of Star Palace, the first scroll increased his fighting power 10-fold. The second scroll, 100-fold. The third scroll, 1,000-fold. The secret skill was unbelievable, but in reality, the secret skills of Star Palace could only be demonstrated in the eternal chaotic world. In the absolute beginning divine world, with Heaven Wei around, there was no way a secret skill could increase one's power by 100 times. No secret skill was capable of such a thing. Although the complete secret skill of 7 stars was impressive, it was not as amazing as the one he had learned back at the eternal chaotic world. The true secret skill of 7 stars concentrated star power as well, but the star power would instead concentrate into the person's holy body, merging perfectly with their divine power and blood essence. The star power would improve the person's own cultivation base. The secret skill of 7 stars had 3 scrolls as well. The first scroll elevated anyone below an undying saint by half a realm. The second scroll elevated anyone below an undying saint by a full realm. The third scroll elevated anyone below an undying saint by 2 realms, and elevated anyone beyond an undying saint by half a realm. Jian Wushuang was left speechless as he read through the information related to the secret skill of 7 stars. Within the absolute beginning divine world, even though the secret skill of 7 stars was not as outrageous due to Heaven Wei, it was still terrifying. It could directly elevate one's own cultivation base. The 3 scrolls would help one immensely, especially the third scroll. Once that was learnt, anyone below an undying saint would be elevated by 2 realms. Say, if an early-stage chaotic realm expert were to learn that third scroll, he could reach the peak chaotic realm in an instant. That was the elevation of 2 realms. Elevating half a realm above the undying saint was even more impressive. An undying saint was one of the strongest experts in the absolute beginning divine world. Even a little improvement meant a lot to an undying saint, and was very hard to achieve. Now, if they knew they could be elevated by half a realm instantly with the help of the secret skill, many undying saints would kill for it. Thanks. It is indeed one of the strongest secret skill the Seven-Star Black Sect has to offer. It may not be as good as the secret skills of Star Palace, but in the absolute beginning divine world, this would help immensely, Jian Wushuang said in admiration. He was very content with it. Of course, as a chaotic realm, it was hard to learn all 3 scrolls in one shot. He could only learn the first. Even so, his powers would improve immensely. Next, Jian Wushuang read the 9-star armor. He had seen Emperor Bai demonstrate the 9-star armor before and knew how powerful it was. It was also one of 7-star Black Sect's strongest secret skills. But after reading its details, Jian Wushuang shook his head. An early-stage chaotic realm could indeed train it, but one needed lots of resources. More importantly, one needed to create their own life armor. The life armor was different from any other armor. The life armor needed to be created with the cultivator's own blood essence, linking the armor to the host itself. If the life armor got damaged, the host would be injured as well. And the life armor could only be used by the creator. The 9-star armor was a secret skill that complemented the life armor. The resources required for the 9-star armor cultivation were nothing, but creating a life armor will be a different matter, Jian Wushuang murmured. Chapter 23-27. 5 Great Secret Skills, Part 2. He had learnt from Emperor Bai back in the eternal chaotic world that it took him a huge amount of time and resources to master the 9-star armor. He now knew it was due to the life armor. It's not easy creating a life armor, Jian Wushuang said. Creating a life armor not only required blood essence, but also resources suitable for the armor. Those resources were considered extremely valuable in the absolute beginning divine world as well. At least his Zhui Yunfeng and the Lin Mansion would definitely not be able to obtain it. Maybe a big sect in the Wuxia Barren region would be willing to sacrifice that much. Next, life armor still needed a master smelter to be created. In the Wuxia Barren region, there were only so many master smelters in the region. Jian Wushuang would not be able to reach them at that moment. Without materials or someone to help smelt it, he could not master the 9-star armor anyway. I'll put the 9-star armor on hold for now, Jian Wushuang said to himself. The 9-star armor was powerful. Jian Wushuang would never give up on it. He simply put it on hold. Next, Jian Wushuang read the Punisher God. He had seen Emperor Bai demonstrate the terrifying Punisher God before. When Emperor Bai was in full drive, the 99,000-foot-tall golden Emperor Shadow improved his powers immensely. The Punisher God also had some tricks up its sleeve, like the Punisher's Hell. Jian Wushuang was relatively envious of Emperor Bai then. But even if Emperor Bai had handed him the secret skill in the eternal chaotic world, then it would have been too hard for him to learn. But things were different now. The Punisher God only needs sufficient spiritual influence of heaven and earth and some supplementary treasures to help. Not easy to find in the eternal chaotic world, but easy enough over here. I can do this, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. He was in a better position than Emperor Bai to learn the Punisher God. There were levels to the cultivation of Punisher God as well. The levels could be seen from how tall the shadow one could precipitate was. The first level would form a 100-foot tall shadow. The second level, 1,000 feet. The third level, 10,000 feet. The fourth level, 100,000 feet. The fifth level, 1,000,000 feet. Jian Wushuang remembered when Emperor Bai had demonstrated the Punisher God in the eternal chaotic world, the shadow reached 99,000 feet high. In terms of levels, Emperor Bai should have been one step away from the fourth level. But in reality, that was not the case. Although Emperor Bai formed a shadow 99,000 feet high then, the secret skill he learnt had always been flawed. It would be easy to keep going, but its true power cannot be released. Even if he had obtained the complete skill afterwards, head pale in comparison to those who had the full skill from the very beginning. Jian Wushuang said, according to the Punisher God information, it was not easy to cultivate it. The third level of Punisher God already required a top chaotic divine demon to master. The only reason Emperor Bai had reached the peak of the third level was because the skill he had learnt was flawed from the very beginning. With my abilities and some time, I should be able to learn the first level of Punisher God, forming a 100-foot-tall shadow. This way, my powers will improve too. Jian Wushuang smiled. Of the 5 great secret skills in the 7-star Black Sect, the secret skill of 7 stars, 9-star armor, and Punisher God were all secret skills that improved fighting power. He could learn 2 of the 3 for now. As for the remaining 2, Exquisite Pagoda, Body of Eternity, these are defensive secret skills. Jian Wushuang read on. The Exquisite Pagoda was a soul defense secret skill. After a cultivator reached chaotic realm levels and his consciousness morphed into a soul, the soul would become particularly important. As one's powers grew stronger, the more important his soul would become. Once someone has reached Undying Saint levels and gained the body of Undying, the soul would be their root power. Therefore, soul defense was particularly important. Many experts in the absolute beginning divine world would give up everything in order to improve their soul defense abilities. And as the 5 great secret skills of the 7-star Black Sect, the Exquisite Pagoda was the top 5 soul defense skills in the absolute beginning divine world. It was definitely a soul defense skill countless experts would kill for. After I reincarnated, without my soul-swallowing pearl, my soul defense dropped quite a bit. I can make use of this exquisite pagoda. Jian Wushuang smiled. He knew that in order to free the people in the 7-star divine realm and meet his closest family and friends on the other side, he needed to prioritize his life. The exquisite pagoda would help him with that immensely. Besides the exquisite pagoda, there was the body of eternity, an equally strong protective secret skill. But Jian Wushuang had no intention to learn it. After all, he already possessed a more suitable protective secret skill. The body of eternity can be considered the top 10 protective secret skills in the absolute beginning divine world, but the immemorial celestial body of the ancient clan is probably stronger, Jian Wushuang murmured. Chapter 23-28. About to start. The immemorial celestial body was from the ancient clan. The ancient clan was one of the 4 big holy tribes in the absolute beginning divine world, powerful in both close combat and preservation techniques. The immemorial celestial body was the ancient clan's trump card. When comparing the immemorial celestial body and the body of eternity, most would likely agree that the immemorial celestial body was slightly stronger, for it increased the strength of the holy body as well as one's own divine power. The only flaw was that it could only be cultivated by someone that possessed the bloodline of ancient clan, the ancient clan. Therefore, although the secret skill was powerful, it was not very popular in the absolute beginning divine world. Because even if absolute beginning divine world cultivators were to obtain the secret skill, they could not learn it. Jian Wushuang had possessed the bloodline of ancient clan in his past life, and the immemorial celestial body had helped him immensely, but after reincarnation, he had lost everything except his soul. Naturally, he had lost the bloodline of ancient clan as well. However, Jian Wushuang soon realized that he could still practice the secret skills of the ancient clan. The ancient clan's secret skills all required the bloodline of ancient clan, but Jian Wushuang could perform them easily. Jian Wushuang then realized that as a perfect chaotic life form, he was the origin of all living beings. Therefore, he had the bloodline of ancient clan somewhere within him as well. And it does not stop there. Even if the other three holy tribes had secret skills that needed their unique bloodline power, as long as Jian Wushuang had the secret skill, there was no stopping him. The body of eternity was impressive, but Jian Wushuang would definitely prefer the immemorial celestial body if he could learn it. The 5 great secret skills. I can learn the secret skill of 7 stars, Punisher God, exquisite pagoda, add the immemorial celestial body into the mix, and I should have enough to roam these lands freely, Jian Wushuang murmured. After making a decision, Jian Wushuang started making his move. In addition, he went directly to his father Zhui Yunfeng for his help at searching some cultivating resources. Zhui Yunfeng had high hopes for Jian Wushuang, and naturally did his best after learning that those resources would do good for Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang did not waste time either, and soon started his training. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. Jian Wushuang was still cultivating the secret skills, but he had to stop. The Zhuge family was about to make their move. Governor's mansion, within the hall. Brother Lin has sent a message to me. I'll make my way to the Lin mansion tomorrow to assist them, Shui Yunfeng said solemnly. Luo Xinqin beside him frowned worriedly. They're finally making their move. Jian Wushuang squinted and said, Father, I'll follow you to the Lin mansion tomorrow. Nonsense, Shui Yunfeng berated him. You think this is a game? The Zhuge family is determined to exterminate the Lin family this time. Any misstep would lead to dire circumstances. Even I may not survive then. How could you help? You'll be seeking an early death. Father, the Zhuge family have had their eyes on me since I returned 3 years ago. They even sent a half-step divine demon to kill me. Even though they failed, they will not give up. The reason why they have not made their move since is that you are still here. The moment you leave and the Zhuge family hears the word of it, do you think Mother and I will be safe in the mansion? Jian Wushuang said calmly. Zhui Yunfeng flinched. He remembered that Jian Wushuang had once been chased down by the Zhuge family. As for what Jian Wushuang said, if he left the governor's mansion, and the Zhuge family assassins came. Okay, for your safety, follow me to the Lin mansion tomorrow. But when we reach it, follow our arrangements. If the Lin mansion can no longer be defended, I will arrange someone to help both of you escape. Do not hesitate at that time. Shui Yunfeng said solemnly. That moment will not come, Father. Even if it does, we can escape, Jian Wushuang replied. Okay, Zhui Yunfeng nodded. He did not notice how determined and cold Jian Wushuang's gaze was. Jian Wushuang had long known that his father was prepared to die with the Lin family. If the Lin family could no longer fend off the Zhuge family, Zhui Yunfeng would definitely fight to the death alongside Lin Taifeng. That was not what Jian Wushuang wanted. Unfortunately, it's only been 2 months since I made a breakthrough to chaotic realm levels. Besides the first scroll of the immemorial celestial body, I have not mastered the rest. The odds are not good, Jian Wushuang murmured. He had wasted no time training those past 2 months. But he needed more time. The resources he needed for Punisher God had not arrived like his father had promised. Although he had cultivated the first scroll of the immemorial celestial body, it had not boosted his powers immensely. But he remained confident that he could go against normal chaotic divine demons. Regardless, I will not let anything be done to my parents. Not the past life, not now. Jian Wushuang clenched his fist as a hint of murderous intent swept through his gaze. The Zhuge family tried to take my life. I had no grudges, but if they dare mess with family, they will have to get through me first. The next day, Jian Wushuang and his parents, along with some chaotic realm guards, left for the Lin mansion. They arrived smoothly a few days later. At the Lin family, the head was waiting at the gate. Under normal circumstances, A half-step divine demon would not have been worthy of the Lin family head to welcome personally, but Shui Yunfeng was different. Everyone in the Anzhou commandery knew that Shui Yunfeng and Lin Taifeng were sworn brothers. Even though some experts would hesitate or even reject Lin family's pleas for help, Shui Yunfeng did not hesitate and was instead the first to arrive. Chapter 23-29. Lin Tao, Thunder Sound Sect. Ha! Brother Zhua. Lin Taifeng smiled broadly as he greeted his guests. Brother Lin, it's been a few years. How have you been? Shui Yunfeng smiled as well. Thank you for coming this time. Lin Taifeng said solemnly. We are brothers. Why the formalities? Shui Yunfeng complained. Lin Taifeng was left speechless and smiled. He looked at Luo Xinqin and Jian Wushuang at the side. Both of them have decided to come too? Yes, Shui Yunfeng replied. The Zhuge family tried to kill Shuang before. I could not leave them back at the mansion without fears of an assassination. Is that so? Lin Taifeng nodded and said, Rest assured, Brother Zhua, even if the Lin family was at the brink of extinction, I would do whatever I could to make sure they escape safely. Thank you. Shui Yunfeng heaved a sigh of relief. Brother Zhua, over here. Lin Taifeng waved his hand. The Zhua family headed inside the Lin mansion. Many Lin mansion experts around them were talking amongst themselves. That's the governor of the Incineration Moon City. I have heard of the good relations between Governor Zhua and our head. I guess that was true. Those experts who are on good terms with the Lin family all refused to help us, but now Governor Zhua is the first one here, with his entire family as well. Looks like they are ready to fight and die alongside us. Oh, did you notice the young man beside him? Jian Wushuang? Of course. He crushed Zhuge Hong's divine weapon 3 years ago with his fingers, saving face for the Lin family. The experts had nothing but respect and admiration for Shui Yunfeng and Jian Wushuang. A friend in need was a friend indeed. There was no doubt regarding Shui Yunfeng's intentions. Once they had settled down in the Lin mansion, Shui Yunfeng and Lin Taifeng went into discussion. Jian Wushuang stayed in the courtyard that he had lived in before. Soon, 2 figures rushed over. They were Lin Yan and Lin Qingqing. Ha, Brother Wushuang. Jian Wushuang could hear Lin Yan's hearty laughter from far and walked out of the room with a smile. Young Lord Wushuang, Lin Qingqing said, her eyes full of respect for Jian Wushuang. In the past 3 years, Jian Wushuang had stayed at the Lin mansion. He had impressed many with his proficiency with the sword principle. After Jian Wushuang had defeated Zhuge Hong, countless more Lin mansion disciples had looked at him in admiration. 3 years had passed, but that sense of admiration had never subsided. Young Lord Yan, young Qingqing, it's been some time. Jian Wushuang greeted them with a smile. Ha, Brother Wushuang. Have you changed much these past 3 years? Lin Yan looked at Jian Wushuang. Same as you, not at all, Jian Wushuang smiled. Lin Yan was considered his first friend in his current life. His character was similar to that of his best buddy Wang Yuan, loud, straightforward, and carefree. Jian Wushuang was pleased to make such friends. Are you prepared for what's to come? Jian Wushuang smiled as he asked Lin Yan. Of course, I've improved quite a bit these past 3 years. You know, if the Zhuge family dares to come, I'll let them have it. Lin Yan replied coldly. Oh, Jian Wushuang lifted his brow. He could tell that Lin Yan's abilities had improved, but he was not at pure sun realm yet, a mere pinnacle transformed god. He was nothing in the war between the Zhuge family. Of course, it's good to have such fighting ambitions. As Jian Wushuang, Lin Yan and Lin Qingqing were talking casually, A Lin Mansion disciple ran in hurriedly. "Brother Yen, I knew you would be here." The disciple's eyes lit up the moment he saw Lin Yen. "I'm reminiscing with Brother Wushuang. What's the matter?" Lin Yen frowned. "Brother Tao's back," the disciple replied. "Oh." Lin Yen flinched, then immediately displayed great joy. "So, did Lin Qingqing. Brother Tao. Lin Tao." Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. He had learned a bit about the Lin Mansion people in the 3 years he stayed there. He had not met Lin Tao personally, but Jian Wushuang had heard of him. Lin Tao was supposedly the best genius the Lin Mansion had had in centuries. He made the breakthrough to Pure Sun realm by the age of 20, better than that Zhuge Hong. He had then entered the chaotic realm at the age of 27 and entered a sect called the Thunder Sound Sect and never returned since. But Lin Tao was back this time. "Brother Tao is back. Come, let's go see." Lin Yen was obviously excited and even dragged Jian Wushuang along towards the Lin Mansion gates. Soon they arrived. Sure enough, a few figures stood surrounded by crowds of Lin Mansion disciples and some experts. The man that stood in the center, the handsome young man, was Lin Tao, Lin Mansion's first genius. He smiled and greeted the Lin Mansion experts as the disciples looked at him with admiration. That kind of admiration was different to how they had looked at Jian Wushuang. Their admiration now had frenzy added to the mix. Jian Wushuang was gifted and had defeated Zhuge Hong, but he did not belong to the Lin Mansion in the end. But not for Lin Tao. He was the young disciple's idol. "Is that Lin Tao?" Jian Wushuang gave Lin Tao a slight glance, but what he really noticed were the four behind him. 3 males, 1 female, all young. Jian Wushuang could tell that the 3 men were already at half-step divine demon levels. The woman was stronger, a real chaotic divine demon. 1 chaotic divine demon, 3 half-step divine demon experts. Not only did he rush back himself, he even got help. Jian Wushuang smiled. Chapter 2330. Humility, a half-step divine demon, was a rare asset to come by for the fight against the Zhuge family. A chaotic divine demon would certainly help the Lin family even more. Now, Lin Tao brought over a chaotic divine demon and 3 half-step divine demons. "Haha, Brother Tao." Lin Qingqing and Lin Yen rushed towards Lin Yen at the first moment they could. "Oh, Yen, Qingqing? It's the 2 of you." Lin Tao recognized both of them. "It's been over a decade since we last met. You have all grown so much." Lin Tao had left for the Thunder Sound Sect at the age of 27. 12 years had passed, and he was already 39. They made some small talk. "Come, Brother Tao, let me introduce you to a sword principle genius, Brother Wushuang. My father said his gifts in sword principle were the best in the Anzhou Commandery, and perhaps even in the entire Wuxia Baron region," Lin Yen said as he pointed at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang flinched and smiled bitterly. Lin Yen was not a good talker. It would have been fine if he had said that to others. But Lin Tao was a genius, and there were definitely many other geniuses in Thunder Sound Sect that were proficient in sword principle. Lin Yan's statement would certainly attract unnecessary attention. Indeed, Lin Tao and his 3 half-step divine demons, and even that divine demon beauty, shifted their gazes towards Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said humbly, "Greetings to all, I'm Jian Wushuang." "Jian Wushuang." Lin Tao stared at him curiously. "Unparalleled in sword principle. What a powerful name. I wonder if your sword principle cultivation base lives up to your name." A black-robed man behind Lin Tao smiled widely, with his teeth showing. He had a long sword behind his back, stating the obvious that he was into sword cultivation. "The name was given to me by my parents. In terms of sword principle cultivation base, It's not as exaggerated as young Lord Yen claimed. I'm considered ordinary compared to you all from the Thunder Sound sect. Jian Wushuang replied. Modest too, Lin Tao nodded. The black-robed man, with the long sword, shrugged his shoulders. He had no intention to go after Jian Wushuang after he had put himself down. Yen, you can say that within the Lin mansion, but not outside. Don't make trouble for him, Lin Tao instructed. But Lin Yen only wanted to say how gifted Jian Wushuang was. But Jian Wushuang pulled his sleeve. Young Lord Tao is right. There are countless talents around. I'm really nothing much compared to the Wuxia Barren region. Jian Wushuang smiled. He did not want to cause any trouble. Lin Yen naturally did not say much. It's nice to see someone with modesty. Lin Tao nodded. Even if the Lin family had said Jian Wushuang was the best in sword principle in the entire Wuxia Barren region, he would take it with a pinch of salt. After all, his worldview had changed the moment he entered the Thunder Sound sect. He knew that the land was unfathomable and geniuses could be anywhere and everywhere. Even in the Wuxia Barren region, the strongest sword principle genius had dared not claim to be the best in the Wuxia Barren region. Lin Taifeng was a chaotic divine demon, but his worldview was limited to only the Anjiu commandery. His judgment naturally could not mean much then. After some chit-chat, Lin Taifeng and the Lin family top experts welcomed him as well. Lin Taifeng and the rest were naturally excited when they saw the 4 experts Lin Tao being brought over. After a while, everyone congregated at the Lin Mansion's conference hall, including the experts that the Lin Mansion had invited. Zhu Yinfeng was there as well. Jian Wushuang, on the other hand, hid at a small corner with Lin Yen. Lin Taifeng sat at the front, then stood up and bowed to the crowd in front of him. Thank you all for providing the Lin family with much-needed assistance during dire circumstances like these. Especially the 4 experts from the Thunder Sound sect, led by Fire Fairy. Thank you. You're too kind, Head. The chaotic divine demon beauty from the Thunder Sound sect, Fire Fairy, said, Lin Tao is one of the core disciples of the Thunder Sound sect. If his family is in trouble, we will naturally help him. But because we had an agreement amongst clans to not interfere in every single clan or family feud, we can only send over some core disciples here. Please forgive us. Nonsense. We are already eternally grateful for your assistance. Lin Taifeng smiled. There were many sects in the Wuxia Barren region. Some of the clans controlled regions, but most did not. As time passed, the sects had an agreement to not interfere too much in family feuds within the region. Even if they had disciples in that family, the clan could only send a small number of experts to help. Lin Taifeng knew all that and naturally understood. The Thunder Sound sect can't help us completely, and neither can the Dongzhou sect help the Zhuge family too much. They will at most send a chaotic divine demon and some half-step divine demons. The remaining forces will simply be Lin versus the Zhuge family. Lin Taifeng's voice was clear and echoed within the hall. The Zhuge family have been fighting with us for years. We know each other well. We are about equally as powerful. How much stronger can they be? The only reason they dare challenge us is that one half-step divine demon recently ascended into divine demon levels. Even then, it won't be that easy to decimate us. After hearing what Lin Taifeng had to say, the hall was filled with whispers. Many experts invited by the Lin Mansion nodded. The Lin family and Zhuge family had fought for so many years. Even if they had one more person that ascended to chaotic demon levels, even if they had Dongzhou sect's help, they could not destroy the Lin family. After all, the Lin family had the Thunder Sound sect behind them and had invited experts to help at all costs. Chapter 23:31. In 10 days, Jian Wushuang looked at the crowd strangely as they whispered amongst themselves. Lin Taifeng gave them a pep talk. Jian Wushuang smiled. Lin Yan beside him, on the other hand, was visibly moved by what Lin Taifeng said. He felt that the Lin family could face the Zhuge family without fear. But in reality, Jian Wushuang knew that the Zhuge family had researched the Lin family's actual strength, and they probably knew that the Thunder Sound sect would help as well. Even then, if the Zhuge family dared to make a move, it meant that things were not as simple as they seemed. But he did not know who was backing the Zhuge family. Everyone, please do not leave the premises for now. If I am not wrong, they will attack in 10 days, Lin Taifeng said. 10 days. So fast. Immediately, there was a commotion in the hall. Brother Lin, how could you be so sure? Zhu Yunfeng frowned. Truth be told, the Zhuge family finished their preparations 3 months ago. They delayed their plans till now as a big shot arrived at Anzhou Commandery 3 months ago, Lin Taifeng replied. The big shot had the commandery governor come down to welcome the person himself, and I assume all of you know the commandery governor's style. The commandery governor has his own job to do. Normally he would turn a blind eye to feuds within the Anzhou commandery, but if the commandery governor himself had to greet this big shot, and the Zhuge family attacked at that time, it would bring great shame to the commandery governor. Everyone finally understood. Although the commandery governor was only a chaotic divine demon, his title was indeed worthy of some respect. After all, the commandery governor not only settled administrative affairs within the commandery, if there were experts in the commandery, he would recommend them to the sects himself. Normally, the commandery governor would provide the genius with options. But if one sect were to offend him, they would likely never receive any genius from that region. The commandery governor would not bother. So, unless necessary, the sects within the Wuxia Baron region dared not offend the commandery governor. If even the sects did, as such, the Zhuge family would not dare to offend the commandery governor. The Zhuge family dare not make their move while the commandery governor entertains his guest, but according to our information, that person will leave the Anzhou commandery in days. With the commandery governor's character, he will likely continue to retreat back to his own abode, disregarding the feuds within the Anzhou commandery. The Zhuge family will make their move then, Lin Taifeng said. I see. The people in the hall nodded. So, please make your preparations. The enemy will be here in days, Lin Taifeng said solemnly. Rest assured, head, we will do our best, the experts in the hall all replied. At that same moment, the Zhuge family was making their preparations as well. In an exquisite attic, many experts from the Zhuge family gathered, along with some people from the Dongzhou sect. However, as Lin Taifeng had said, the Dongzhou sect did not dare send too many experts to join the battle. Only one chaotic divine demon and 4 half-step divine demons were present. The chaotic divine demon was the gray-robed elder beside Zhuge Hong, Elder Chun. According to news from the Lin Mansion, the experts from the Thunder Sound sect have arrived. The Lin Mansion has paid a hefty sum to invite lots of experts, as well, a Zhuge family elder said. Ha! We predicted this a long time ago, a tall and sturdy middle-aged man with some stubble replied. He was the Zhuge family head, Zhuge Yuancheng. He had a white-haired elder beside him. He was the previous Zhuge family head, Zhuge Yun. He was the chaotic divine demon that had reached initial success at Sword Principal, recognized as the top sword cultivator in the Anzhou commandery. Of course, he had not yet encountered Jian Wushuang at that time. Who is the chaotic divine demon the Thunder Sound sect sent? Elder Chen asked. Fire Fairy, Zhuge Yuancheng replied. Her. Elder Chen's brows lifted, and he showed a playful smile. That Fire Fairy was only a Thunder Sound sect disciple 20 years ago. She made it to chaotic divine demon levels through sheer luck. She's a normal third-grade divine demon, small fry. According to what I heard, the divine demon that had been training outside has returned to the Lin Mansion. The Lin Mansion head, Lin Taifeng, is pretty strong as well, a peak third-grade divine demon. He could go against you, Elder Chen, Zhuge Yuanchong said. The last time I followed young Lord Hong to the Lin Mansion, although Lin Taifeng did not show himself, I could feel him. He was injured then. I wanted to lure him out, but that plan was messed up by a nobody junior. Elder Chen said, that Jian Wushuang. Once we wipe out the Lin family, he will have nowhere to escape, Zhuge Hong said coldly as he sat on one of the chairs. That Jian Wushuang is gifted, so he must be killed. That has me thinking. Did the Lin Mansion not kill a half-step divine demon from the Water Fairy Island? Why has the Water Fairy Island not acted upon it yet? Zhuge Yuanchong frowned. Chapter 2332. I Want to Lao at Water Fairy Island was one of the clans that was ranked in the top 10 in the Wuxia Baron region. Both the Dongzhou sect and the Thunder Sound sect were less powerful than the Water Fairy Island. If the Water Fairy Island wanted to destroy the Lin family, it would be as easy as killing an ant. Zhuge family head, you might not know this, but there are more than 200 chaotic divine demons in the Water Fairy Island and countless extraordinary disciples. Even though Yan Ke is a disciple of the Water Fairy Island, she is an ordinary disciple and is not an influential person. She is not close to any of the other disciples or elders within the Water Fairy Island. Hence, the Water Fairy Island might not even care at all, Elder Chen said. Even so, she is still a disciple from the Water Fairy Island. If she is killed just like this, and the Water Fairy Island does not take revenge for her, won't it be bad for their reputation? Zhuge Yuanchong said. No, the Water Fairy Island will definitely do something for her. After all, she is a disciple from the Water Fairy Island, and people cannot just kill her and not pay a price. However, there is no telling when they will take revenge for her. If I am not wrong, there are no disciples or experts from the Water Fairy Island around this area. If one passed by, he would definitely come by. However, knowing the Water Fairy Island, they would just teach the Lin Mansion a lesson. They would not annihilate them to serve as a warning for others, as the Water Fairy Island is already well known by people as a prestigious and powerful clan. Elder Chen said, that is all. Forget it then. We never expected the Water Fairy Island to help us achieve our plan. Zhuge Yuanchong said, all right, everyone, go and prepare. Once that lord leaves the Anzhou prefecture, and the commandery governor announces that he is going to shut himself off from the world to cultivate, we will execute our plan. Roger. The experts from the Zhuge family nodded their heads respectfully and left. However, a few chaotic divine demons from the Zhuge family and some of the people from Tian's sect stayed behind. Zhuge Hong was one of those who stayed. Soon, the door to the pavilion opened again as a figure fully covered in a black cloak walked in. Greetings, Zhuge family head, and the lords from Tian's sect. I am Xiang Tua. The figure bowed slightly as he removed his black cloak, revealing his youthful face. I never expected the Xiang family to send you over. Zhuge Hong looked at Xiang Tua with great interest. Xiang Tua was the most talented young man from the Xiang family. He was as talented as Zhuge Hong and a part of a clan. What we are planning to do is too important. My family head is paying much attention to it. Xiang Tua smiled. Do you ask the Golden Cauldron sect for help? Zhuge Hong asked. I did not ask the experts from my clan for help. We should not need their help, right? Xiang Tua asked. Yes, with the help of the Tianzhou sect, the overall power level of the Zhuge family is far above that of the Lin family. As long as the Xiang family is willing to help, We can capture the Lin Mansion easily without asking the Golden Cauldron sect for help." Zhuge Yuanchong nodded his head slightly and said, "If the experts from the Lin Mansion heard this conversation, they would be shocked." The Xiang family was also one of the 6 top-tier families within the Anzhou prefecture. It was extremely powerful. They had a total of 4 chaotic divine demons and 10 half-step chaotic divine demons. This lineup made the Xiang family the most powerful family in the Anzhou prefecture. And the Zhuge family had allied with the Xiang family. This time, the Xiang family will send 3 chaotic divine demon, 10 half-step chaotic divine demons. "Are you satisfied with this lineup?" Xiang Tuo asked. "Yes, absolutely satisfied." Zhuge Yuanchong's eyes lit up, and the remaining people in the room started smiling. The Zhuge family was already more powerful than the Lin family. Now that the Xiang family had provided so many experts, the Lin family would have no way to defeat them if nothing went wrong. Then let us discuss how to split the territory and resources that the Lin family is controlling after we have defeated them. The representatives from both families started discussing. Very quickly, they came to an agreement. "Lin Mansion, Brother Wu Shuang, my father has ordered me to bring you to the Purple Virtue Hall when the experts from Zhuge family attacks." Lin Yan said, "Purple Virtue Hall." Jian Wushuang was stunned. He had been living in the Lin Mansion for around 3 years. He was very familiar with this place. The Purple Virtue Hall was located at the outermost area of the Lin Mansion. It was located near the back door of the mansion. "Not just the 2 of us. He has asked me to bring along your mother, Qingqing, the talented young disciples, and the important family members along. We will gather at the Purple Virtue Hall, and one of the senior brothers will protect us. If the Lin Mansion manages to stop the Zhuge family, everything will be all right. If we cannot, then..." Lin Yan fell silent. "If they fail, your father will ask Brother Tao and one of the senior brothers to escort us to escape this place, right?" Jian Wushuang looked at Lin Yan and finished his sentence. "Yes." Lin Yan nodded his head heavily. Jian Wushuang could understand why Lin Taifeng had made this call. Lin Taifeng was the family head. Even though he felt that the Lin family could stop the Zhuge family, he was planning for the worst. If the experts from the Lin family could not stop them, the entire Lin Mansion could be massacred. The important people from this family had to escape this massacre immediately. If that were the case, he would order all the experts and disciples from the Lin family to escape. These experts and disciples will cover us and leave the Lin Mansion after we left. The reason why we are still here is because the situation is still under control. Furthermore, the Lin Mansion will be in a mess if we leave now." Lin Yan said, "Your father is doing the right thing." Jian Wushuang nodded his head. If these talented disciples and family members left now, it would show the experts that the Lin Mansion had sought help from that the Lin family was not confident in defeating their enemies. Furthermore, if the Zhuge family found out, they would target these disciples and family members. This would result in greater losses. "We will follow your father's orders and stay within the Purple Virtue Hall," Jian Wushuang said. "Yes." Lin Yan nodded his head in agreement. He then asked, "Brother Wushuang, do you think that we will have to evacuate?" "Nope." Jian Wushuang nodded his head straight away. "Why? How are you so confident?" Lin Yan looked at Jian Wushuang and asked, "Because I will not allow it." Jian Wushuang looked Lin Yan in the eye. He did not elaborate further. In the blink of an eye, 8 days passed. On this day, that lord left, and the commandery governor continued to shut himself away from the rest of the world and cultivate. The Lin family and the Zhuge family received the news at the same time. Chapter 23:33. Attack. In front of Zhuge family's gigantic mansion, Many figures were floating. Every one of them had an extremely powerful aura. At the front of the crowd, Zhuge Yuancheng was boiling with killing intent. Everyone, the Lin family and the Zhuge family have fought for many years. Countless cultivators from the Zhuge family have died at the hands of the Lin family. Today, we will bring justice to our fallen brothers. Zhuge Yuancheng said coldly. His voice reverberated in the entire space. Onwards, attack the Lin mansion. The experts from the Zhuge family and Tian's sect followed his orders and moved. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Hundreds of figures were headed for the Lin mansion, and they looked like a nest of bees in the sky. The weakest expert among them was in the chaotic realm. Lin mansion, within the meeting hall. Family head, we have received intel from the scouts that the people from the Zhuge family have entered our territory. They will reach the Lin mansion within half a day. One of the elders from the Lin family said in a serious tone. They are fast, Lin Taifeng muttered to himself. He then commanded, tell the experts from the Lin mansion to prepare for battle. Also, open the Purple Virtue Hall and tell Lin Tao to protect that place well. Roger. The elder left to execute the orders. Hundreds of people gathered within the spacious Purple Virtue Hall. Many of the young disciples and the important family members were here. Jian Wushuang and his mother, Luo Xinqin, were part of the crowd. The door of the hall was closed. Lin Tao and a senior brother, who had a sword on his back, stood near the door. During the time the Lin family and the Zhuge family were battling it out, they would not allow anyone to enter the Purple Virtue Hall. Of course, this meant that the people within the Purple Virtue Hall could not leave either. The people inside the Purple Virtue Hall could only leave after the battle was over, and the Zhuge family had retreated. The other case would be if the Lin family lost this battle. Then Lin Shou would open the door and lead everyone to escape the Lin mansion. Senior brother, thank you for protecting the Purple Virtue Hall with me, Lin Tao said to the senior brother standing beside him. This is an easy job. I feel uncomfortable that I cannot fight in at the front line with senior sister Hua and the other experts from the Lin family. Lin Tao laughed awkwardly. Don't worry, junior brother. The Lin mansion is not weak. With the help of senior sister Hua, there shouldn't be any problem fending off the Zhuge family, the man in black clothes said. I hope that is the case. Lin Tao nodded his head. Within the crowd, Jian Wushuang sat on the floor with his mother, Luo Xinqin. Jian Wushuang was calm, while his mother knitted her eyebrows anxiously. She was worried for Zhu Yunfeng, who would be fighting at the front line. Don't worry, mother. Father will come back safely. Jian Wushuang comforted her. Wushuang, you know your father's temper. It will be best if the Lin family can emerge victorious in this battle. However, he will definitely fight with Lin Taifeng to the end. If that is the case, Luo Xinqin clenched her teeth tightly. Do not worry, mother. That will not happen, Jian Wushuang said to her with confidence. Luo Xinqin was still extremely anxious even after Jian Wushuang comforted her. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang sighed lightly. However, his gaze was extremely sharp. Even though he was within the Purple Virtue Hall and not on the front line, he released his soul power. Once the Lin mansion could not handle the enemies, he would step in immediately. They are here. Jian Wushuang irises constricted. His soul power covered the entire Lin mansion. He could sense that a large numbers of figures had descended at the front door of the Lin mansion. The experts from the Zhuge family had arrived. At the door of the Lin mansion, a large number of experts from the Lin mansion stood there. They waited quietly until they saw the figures that resembled a nest of bees appear in the sky. Hundreds of figures appeared in front of them. Zhuge Yuancheng. Lin Taifeng raised his head. Killing intent was burning within his eyes as he glared at Zhuge Yuanchong. Has the day finally come? Ha! Lin Tifeng. I have waited for this day for a very long time. It is finally time. Zhuge Yuanchong bellowed with laughter. Humph! I am not here to speak nonsense with you. You are here today to capture the Lin family. It is a pity that you do not have the ability to do so, Lin Tifeng said coldly. What a joke. We have the ability to do so. How could the Lin family stand in my way? Zhuge Yuanchong sneered. He then waved his hands and shouted, Experts from the Zhuge family, attack. Kill everyone within this place. Boom. Immediately, the hundreds of figures from the Zhuge family attacked. Stop them. Lin Tifeng waved his hands and shouted. The well-prepared experts from the Lin family, and those the Lin family had sought help from, charged forward. A full-scale battle started. Zhuge Yuanchong. Lin Tifeng shouted with a gloomy look. He radiated a strong devilish aura and a monstrous killing intent which swept over everyone on the battlefield. He glared at Zhuge Yuanchong, wanting to battle it out with him. Humph! Seems like you have completely recovered from your injuries. It is fine, though, as we were prepared for this. Zhuge Yuanchong smiled coldly. He then called out, Elder Chen. Whoosh! A figure in gray clothes appeared in front of Lin Tifeng. It was Elder Chen from the Zhuotian sect. The power of the aura that Elder Chen had was on par with that of Lin Tifeng. I have heard that the head of the Lin family has reached the peak of Tier 3 of the Divine Demon Realm. Even though you were severely injured, you fought a Tier 2 chaotic divine demon and survived. Today, I will have a taste of your power, Elder Chen said indifferently. Lin Tifeng's face turned dark. He felt pressured when he stood before Elder Chen. He knew that Elder Chen's fighting power was on par with his. If you want to die, don't blame me for killing you. Lin Tifeng roared and attacked. Don't boast about your abilities. Elder Chen smiled in disdain. Two peak Tier 3 chaotic divine demons started their battles, and so did the experts from the Lin family and the Zhuge family. The Lin family was powerful. If not, they would not have been able to compete with the Zhuge family for so many years. The Zhuge family sent every expert they had 3 chaotic divine demons. They would have 4 chaotic divine demons, including Elder Chen. They also had 10 half-step chaotic divine demons and numerous experts in the chaotic realm. This was an extremely powerful lineup. On the other side, the Lin family was not weak. They had 3 chaotic divine demons, including Lin Tifeng. They also had more than 10 half-step chaotic divine demons. Their experts in the chaotic realm were more powerful than their enemies. Both sides were equally matched, except in terms of chaotic divine demons, as the Lin family had one less. Just then, an extremely violent aura swept out from within the Lin mansion, and a figure appeared on the battlefield. Chapter 2334. Injured the newly arrived person, a messy, blonde, short-haired, muscular man showed a beast-like grin and a beaming barbaric craze expression. That's Kuang Shi. It's him. The experts from both sides immediately recognized him. Kuang Shi, an unaffiliated lone divine demon expert in the Anzhou Commandery. However, he was there under the Lin clan's request as he dashed out of Lin Mansion. Kuang Shi giggled with an open mouth and dashed into the battle the next moment. He began to fight a divine demon expert from the Zhuge clan. Lin clan's divine demons received substantial help from him as the fights between both sides immediately turned more balanced with equal battle prowess and matching abilities. Lin Tifeng, looks like your clan prepared very well this time. Huh? You even invited Kuang Shi to be here. I wonder how much you paid him. Zhuge Yuanchong smiled disdainfully. Humph. How can I not have some preparations when you made such huge waves coming over? Lin Taifeng humphed coldly. That's also true. However, do you think the Lin clan won't be slaughtered just because you hired Kuang Shi? Perhaps you're underestimating us too much. We are at least 90% confident to win for our clan to dare touch yours. Zhuge Yuanchong grinned mysteriously. It's about time. It's coming. Just as the Lin clan members were wondering what he meant, dozens of figures dashing over from the distant void. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in the void surrounding the battlefield. Among them were 3 leaders, with all of them being chaotic divine demon. Other than that, there were around a dozen pseudo-divine demon realm experts, with the rest being peak chaotic realm. It was a terrifying lineup. Their appearance caused everyone on the battlefield to momentarily stop fighting. Xiangzong, Lin Taifeng gave a deadly stare at one of their leaders, who was a purple-haired, middle-aged man. Xiang clan. The Lin clan members were shocked. Xiang clan was one of the top 6 big clans of the Anzhou Commandery. The Lin clan was normally respectful toward the Xiang clan and seldom crossed them. However, why had experts from the Xiang clan shown up? Furthermore, it was obvious they were here to join forces with the Zhuge clan. Clan leader Xiang, the Xiang clan, and Lin clan never had any resentment toward each other. I had never offended you in any way for certain, but why are you here today? Lin Taifeng was trying hard to repress his anger. Ha ha, Lin Taifeng, you had indeed never crossed the Xiang clan. However, that doesn't mean they won't come looking for you. Zhuge Yuanchong scoffed and laughed. Clan leader Lin, the Xiang clan has earlier come to an agreement with the Zhuge clan. In addition, we have an interclan marriage and also share the same goals with the Zhuge clan. Hence, we'll have to sacrifice the Lin clan for Xiang clan's benefit, said Xiangzong. Sacrifice? Lin Taifeng burst into great anger. Xiang clan, you're shameless. Clan leader Xiang, don't waste time talking to him. Let's work together and immediately destroy the Lin clan, said Zhuge Yuanchong. Those are exactly my plans. Xiangzong nodded before waving his large hand. Move. Many experts from the Xiang clan instantly began rushing into the battlefield like starving beasts. No, this is bad. The experts from Lin clan were horrified. The Lin clan would not be afraid at all were they to fight the Zhuge clan alone. However, when the Zhuge clan collaborated with the Xiang clan, a great number of Xiang clan experts had immediately rushed over and joined the battle, which caused a huge gap between both sides' battle power. The Lin clan experts were immediately suppressed. Inside the Zide Palace, a large number of Lin clan's disciples and family members were gathered together. Some who were at the chaotic realm unleashed their soul powers to check on the battlefield at the Lin mansion's gates. Despair took over the Zide Palace when they saw the number of Xiang clan members arriving. Xiang clan has attacked us. Damn it, is the Xiang clan working with the Zhuge clan? Doomed. The Lin clan is doomed. Lin Tao, who was guarding the entrance of the palace, and his senior brother were both equally shocked. The Xiang clan. Jian Wushuang frowned. He knew earlier that the Zhuge clan had made extraordinary preparations, which proved to be true. The only matter Jian Wushuang did not expect was that the Zhuge clan had secretly established an alliance with one of the 6 top clans of Anzhou Commandery, the Xiang clan. The Lin clan was in deep trouble when a large number of the Xiang clan experts arrived. Jian Wushuang's expression shifted as he immediately stood up. Shuanger, what is it? Luo Xinqin immediately looked over. It's father. He's injured, said Jian Wushuang. In the battle outside of the Lin mansion, Jian Wushuang's soul power could see Zhui Yunfeng crossing hands with a Zhuge clan divine demon expert, and had suffered some injuries under the divine demon's attacks. What? Luo Xinqin was shocked. Is he all right? He'll be all right for now, said Jian Wushuang. However, he knew very well that given the situation, the Lin clan had been completely overpowered, and their defeat was only a matter of time. As soon as they were defeated, perhaps all the experts in the Lin mansion were going to be killed, including his father. Perhaps it's time for me to take action? Jian Wushuang mumbled to himself. Upon looking at Luo Xinqin before him, who was extremely worried and anxious, he took a deep breath and said, "Please don't worry, mother. I'll safely bring father back." You. Luo Xinqin was stunned and immediately said, "Shuanger, don't be impulsive." She did not want anything to happen to Zhui Yunfeng, and neither did she want to see Jian Wushuang injured. Brother Wushuang. Lin Yan and Lin Qingqing beside him both looked over at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang waved his hand and did not say a word as he directly walked towards Zide Palace's gates. At the gates, Lin Tao and his senior brother, the black-robed man with the long sword on his back, were both quietly guarding. Even though the battle outside was fierce, they had no intentions of joining the fight. They had their mission. Jian Wushuang came up at that moment. "Open the gates. I need to go out," said Jian Wushuang directly. "Go out." Jian Wushuang, "You'd better stay here. What's happening outside isn't something you can interfere with," answered Lin Tao. The black-robed man shot a gaze at Jian Wushuang as well. Both of them were responsible to keep Zide Palace safe, and would not let anyone out until the battle was over and the Lin clan was safe. The gates of the Zide Palace would only be opened when the Lin clan was defeated and needed to immediately escape. Jian Wushuang did not say more and only pointed a finger outward. "Jian Wushuang, what do you think you're doing?" Lin Tao stared at Jian Wushuang. However, Jian Wushuang suddenly moved. A ghastly shadow abruptly flashed by which caused Lin Tao's eye to widen from his incapability to react. Jian Wushuang's figure had once again reappeared on the same spot. "I'll kill you if you dare stop me." Chapter 23:35. Jian Wushuang attacked. "If you continue to stop me, I will kill you." Jian Wushuang said coldly, and his voice reverberated in the Purple Virtue Hall. The talented disciples and family members of the experts from the Lin mansion looked over at Jian Wushuang, confused. Lin Tao was breaking out in a cold sweat. From his forehead, a few strands of hair fell towards the ground. These few strands of hair would not drop to the ground for no reason at all. Jian Wushuang had cut them off in that instant. If Jian Wushuang had wanted to, he could have chopped off Lin Tao's head. "Did I almost die? How can this be? This kid?" Lin Tao was trembling as he stared dead at Jian Wushuang. He was in disbelief. "Junior brother." The man in black clothes looked at Lin Tao and turned pale. He instinctively reached out towards the sword that was behind his back. Suddenly, a cold pair of eyes looked at him. Rays of killing intent were seen in the pair of eyes. The man in black clothes was frozen in fear. His hand stopped in midair. He looked at Jian Wushuang in fear. Even though Jian Wushuang simply looked at him, he felt that he was lost within endless sword essence. The sword essence was extremely terrifying. If he continued to reach for his sword hilt, he would have died before he had even drawn his sword. How is this possible? The man in black clothes was shocked beyond words. Both of them had met Jian Wushuang before. Jian Wushuang had been a very modest and mild child. Even when Lin Yan had said that Jian Wushuang could be the most talented person in the sword doctrine throughout the Wuxia Baron region, they had never taken his words seriously and had underestimated Jian Wushuang. The door of the hall opened. After the door opened, the aura that Jian Wushuang had completely changed. Based on divine power alone, Jian Wushuang had the aura of an early-stage chaotic realm. This level of cultivation base was nothing. However, a person in this realm changed the perspective of everyone within the Purple Virtue Hall. Everyone looked at Jian Wushuang in fear. It was as though they were looking at an unmatchable killing machine, an overpowering emperor. Jian Wushuang did not say anything else. He looked into the air as he dashed forward towards the battlefield. The experts in the Purple Virtue Hall went into an uproar after Jian Wushuang disappeared from everyone's sight. These people were amazed, in disbelief, and even in fear. "Senior brother, did you feel that?" Lin Tao trembled lightly as he looked at the man in black clothes beside him. "I felt it. At that instant, I felt I would die from his gaze." "You?" The man in black clothes nodded his head solemnly. Both of them were raging with emotion and could not calm themselves down at all. In the crowd, Luo Xinqin looked at Jian Wushuang's back view. She seemed to have thought of something. "Wushuang, Lin Mansion." The battlefield was shifted from the front door of the Lin Mansion to the sky above the mansion. It was a one-sided battle. After the Xiang family joined, the Lin family could put up no resistance. Is it fate that the Lin family will go down today in history? Lin Taifeng was desperate. "Brother Lin, do not give up. There is still a chance." Zhui Yunfeng, who was not too far away, shouted at Lin Taifeng. "Chance!" Lin Taifeng laughed bitterly. He looked over at Zhui Yunfeng gratefully and said, "Brother Zhui, the Lin family has requested the help of many experts. You are the only one amongst them who is helping me wholeheartedly. The rest of them are here for their own vested interests. I am afraid I can only repay you in the next lifetime." "Do not say something so stupid," Lin Taifeng roared in a low voice. Suddenly, a white sword light appeared beside Zhui Yunfeng, and it swept towards his waist. Zhui Yunfeng was shocked. He tried to back off, but the sword light chased him down. The person who had created that sword light was a white-haired elder in white clothes. "Zhuge Yun." Zhui Yunfeng turned pale. He was a chaotic divine demon from the Zhuge family. He was also known as the most powerful expert in the sword doctrine within the Anzhou prefecture. There was no way Zhui Yunfeng could stop such a powerful expert. "Watch out, Brother Zhui," Lin Taifeng roared in a deep voice. He was preoccupied with Elder Chen and could not help Zhui Yunfeng at all. Zhui Yunfeng had a gloomy look. He gave it his all in an attempt to block the sword light. Just then, "This sword skill is so fast and unique." Zhui Yunfeng widened his eyes. He could only block 3 sword lights out of the many, even though he already tried his best. When the 4th sword light was descending upon him, he felt his life was in danger. The sword light targeted his head. It would have penetrated his head in the next moment. Just then, a formless energy swept forth. The sword light halted in mid-air. This halt gave Zhuo Yunfeng a chance to back off. The sword light missed his head. Soul attack. This soul attack was extremely powerful. It was at the level of a half-step chaotic divine demon. Within the Lin Mansion, there wasn't anyone who could cast a soul attack at the power level of a half-step chaotic divine demon. Who cast it? Zhuge Yun stood there and surveyed the surroundings. What attracted his attention the most was a figure that had appeared out of nowhere. The figure was Jian Wushuang. He appeared beside Zhui Yunfeng. "Father!" Jian Wushuang greeted him. "Wushuang!" When Zhui Yunfeng saw Jian Wushuang, he was enraged. "What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be with your mother within the Purple Virtue Hall? Go back immediately. If I leave now, I will never see you again," Jian Wushuang said indifferently. Zhui Yunfeng was stunned. He knitted his eyebrows. No matter what, You do not have the ability to interfere with this battle. Take your mother and leave the Lin mansion. Leave Anzhou Prefecture. Shui Yunfeng said authoritatively. I know my own abilities best. There is no need for me and mother to leave the Lin mansion and Anzhou Prefecture. Jian Wushuang smiled lightly as he looked at Zhuge Yun. Chapter 2336. The most powerful sword cultivator in Anzhou Prefecture, chaotic divine demon, sword cultivator. You have reached initial success in the sword doctrine realm. If I am not wrong, you are known as the most powerful sword cultivator in the Anzhou Prefecture, right? Zhuge Yun? Jian Wushuang looked at Zhuge Yun calmly. Looks like I am quite famous within the Anzhou Prefecture. Any random youngster can recognize me. However, you cannot just call me so casually, Zhuge Yun said coldly. Youngster, I'm sorry. From today, the title of the most powerful sword cultivator in the Anzhou Prefecture will belong to the youngster standing before you right now, Jian Wushuang said. Huh. Zhuge Yun was stunned before he mocked. Stop boasting. You are only in the chaotic realm. Even your father is no match for me. What makes you think that you can beat me? He was surprised by the fact that Jian Wushuang was in the chaotic realm. Even though Jian Wushuang had just broken through into the chaotic realm, there was no way he, as a chaotic divine demon, could deal with a mere chaotic realm expert. That would be a joke. Father, watch me, Jian Wushuang said. As soon as he finished his sentence, he attacked. Shui Yunfeng wanted to say something. However, he realized Jian Wushuang had disappeared. By the time Jian Wushuang reappeared, he was already right in front of Zhuge Yun. This speed, Shui Yunfeng widened his eyes in surprise. Even he was surprised at the speed Jian Wushuang traveled. Huh. Zhuge Yun was also surprised. The speed Jian Wushuang had was on par with, if not faster, than his. When Jian Wushuang reappeared, a sword light formed. This swing seemed ordinary, as though Jian Wushuang did not put an effort to the swing at all. As a sword cultivator, Zhuge Yun saw that Jian Wushuang's attack was extraordinary. This sword, is it? Zhuge Yun seemed to notice something different. He counterattacked immediately. A white, unique sword light was seen as it shot out like a venomous cobra. Clang! The two swords collided. Sword essences were gushing around wildly. Jian Wushuang tilted his sword and flicked up lightly. The sword in his hands was headed for Zhuge Yun's throat at a speed so fast that he barely had time to react. Shoo! Zhuge Yun sucked in a cold breath. He had to react. He too flicked his sword up to block Jian Wushuang's sword skills. Get lost! Zhuge Yun roared as he slashed at Jian Wushuang with a slash so powerful that it could even split heaven and earth apart. Jian Wushuang simply backed off to the side to evade this attack. You are incredibly fast with the martial art motion you have mastered. You have grasped the space-time rules of order, and your understanding of the sword doctrine is at the level of profound realm. Zhuge Yun looked at Jian Wushuang in disbelief. It was rare to see experts in the early-stage chaotic realm being enlightened to the space-time rules of order. Even though it was rare, there was more than one expert who had managed to do that in the Wuxia Baron region. However, an expert in the early-stage chaotic realm was in the profound realm of the sword doctrine realm. That was absurd. Furthermore, Jian Wushuang was not even 20 years old yet. An expert in his teens was enlightened to rules of order and had reached the profound realm in his understanding of the sword doctrine. Is he a monster? An anomaly? Zhuge Yun exclaimed softly. There were many geniuses in this world, and there were many of them within the Anzhou Prefecture as well. For example, Zhuge Hong, Xiang Tuo from the Xiang family, and Lin Tao from the Lin family were all geniuses. These geniuses would attract the attention of the clans within the Wuxia Baron region, but they would not go crazy over them. Under normal circumstances, these clans would only go after those unbelievably and incredibly talented geniuses. Zhuge Yun felt that Jian Wushuang was one of the people classified as an unbelievably and incredibly talented genius. He was out of this world. There might not be another man as talented as Jian Wushuang from the Wuxia Baron region. Once the clans from the Wuxia Baron region found out about the existence of such an insanely talented person, they would fight to recruit him at all cost. An intense flame of killing intent lit up in Zhuge Yun's eyes as he thought of this. As the enemy of such a person, it would spell disaster for the Zhuge family in the future. If Jian Wushuang wanted to, he could easily join clans such as the Water Fairy Island or other much more powerful clans. He could give certain conditions to these clans, such as annihilating the Zhuge family before he would join them. Zhuge Yun believed that these top-tier clans would agree without hesitation and would even break certain agreements with other clans to fulfill Jian Wushuang's conditions. This person must die. Zhuge Yun was boiling with killing intent. A ray of white sword light appeared again. This time, it was brighter and even more shiny. "You want to kill me?" Jian Wushuang pursed his lips. He looked to the sword in his hand and said, "Blood Mountain Sword. Today, we will fight till our heart's content." Hum, the Blood Mountain Sword trembled vigorously, as though it was replying to Jian Wushuang. "Die!" Jian Wushuang roared with a low voice as he attacked. The two most powerful sword cultivators from the Anzhou prefecture started their battle on the battlefield outside the Lin Mansion. It was a fierce battle. Jian Wushuang's understanding of the rules of order and the sword doctrine was much deeper than Zhuge Yun's. His Blood Mountain Sword was also at a higher tier than sword that Zhuge Yun used. Jian Wushuang was only lacking in the aspect of power. The divine power that Jian Wushuang had was at the level of a half-step chaotic divine demon. Furthermore, he had cultivated the immemorial celestial body, which had boosted his divine power to even greater heights. Even so, he was still not at the level of a real chaotic divine demon. However, there was more to divine power in a battle. Jian Wushuang went even against Zhuge Yun by using his superior understanding of the sword doctrine and rules of order. Both of them fought fiercely. It seemed as though both of them were evenly matched. Zhuge Yunfeng, who was at one side, was stunned. "Wushuang, is that really my son?" Zhuge Yunfeng could not believe his own eyes. "Wushuang, he is only in the early stage chaotic realm, yet he is going even in a battle against the most powerful sword cultivator from the Anzhou prefecture." Zhuge Yunfeng muttered to himself, "No, the fight is not even. Wushuang has a small advantage." Chapter 23:37. Shocked. Zhuge Yunfeng was completely stumped. Moments ago, he had declared that Jian Wushuang had no rights to be there with just his chaotic realm cultivation base. He should remain in the Purple Virtue Hall with Luo Xinqin while looking for an opportunity to flee. Immediately after, Jian Wushuang had engaged Zhuge Yun in an intense battle and held his own well. In fact, he had the edge. If Jian Wushuang had no right to participate in this battle, wouldn't he be doing worse? Dang! The sound of metal clashing heavily rang. Jian Wushuang was knocked back several steps, but he regained his footing swiftly. In terms of the intensity of strength, I'm still a notch weaker. Jian Wushuang mumbled to himself. "Junior." Zhuge Yun's haggard face had become extremely hideous. Flames of anger were raging in his eyes. Jian Wushuang's talent had made him feel fear. He was just an early-stage chaotic realm, and yet his grasp of the sword principle was so profound. He was even able to match evenly against a chaotic divine demon with his early-stage chaotic realm cultivation base. This made Zhuge Yun want to kill him even more. "Die now!" After a deafening roar, Zhuge Yun seemed to morph into a white, glowing sword. Dazzling white light illuminated heaven and earth. It was as though there was a white sun that had come out of nowhere. Shocking sword essence swept towards Jian Wushuang with overwhelming momentum. He's using his ultimate move now. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes, but let out a chuckle soon after. Lin family is in a hugely disadvantageous state. I can't play around with them further. It's time to finish him off. Who? That glowing white sword flushed towards Jian Wushuang relentlessly. Endless sword essence sliced through the air and shot expeditiously towards Jian Wushuang. It was so fast that even a real chaotic divine demon could not react to it, let alone a chaotic realm or half-step divine demon. Junior, you should be proud to die from my strongest sword technique. Zhuge Yun's face was twitching, and a chilling voice came from him. Shuang. Zhu Yunfeng's complexion was deathly pale. He saw that Jian Wushuang's body was being pierced by that glowing white light of Zhuge Yun. Subconsciously, he assumed Jian Wushuang had been killed by Zhuge Yun. However, his penetrated figure split into two and dissipated into thin air. What? Zhuge Yun was astounded. He dodged it? How could it be? Even a real chaotic divine demon couldn't avoid my strongest strike. You don't understand? It's really simple. It's because my understanding of the space-time rules of order is way deeper than you imagined. A mocking voice rang in Zhuge Yun's ears suddenly. Zhuge Yun turned around immediately and only saw a brilliant light flashing across. That brilliant sword light was mesmerizing and intoxicating. When he swung that strike, even the void space was affected as ripples reverberated through. The surrounding space-time seemed come to a halt at that moment. That was the space-time sword principle that Jian Wushuang had created. Snow cleave. Zhuge Yun stood there blankly, only seeing the strike before his eyes. This was the last time he would see anything at all. Uft, the sword light sliced through mercilessly as Zhuge Yun's head was tossed into the sky. The publicly recognized #1 sword cultivator and a chaotic divine demon had been killed on the spot. Dead. He's dead. Shuang killed Zhuge Yun? When Zhu Yunfeng saw Zhuge Yun's head before him, he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Several people in the vicinity witnessed this scene as well. How could this be possible? Ancient Elder is dead. It's Jian Wushuang. He killed a chaotic divine demon. Regardless of if it was the Zhuge family, Lin family, Xiang family, or the numerous experts that had been hired by both parties, they were all dumbfounded at this juncture. A chaotic divine demon could definitely be overbearing in Anzhou Prefecture. In fact, he would be a first-rate expert in the entire Wuxia Baron region. In the battle today, chaotic divine demon was undoubtedly the strongest battle force. The intense battle till now had resulted in lots of chaotic realm experts losing their lives. Even several half-step divine demons had been killed. However, all chaotic divine demons were intact, and both parties had not seen the death of a chaotic divine demon yet. Even when Lin family was in an absolute disadvantageous state, the 4 chaotic divine demon still didn't pose a life-threatening threat to him. And now, the first chaotic divine demon had fallen, and the one who had killed him was only a chaotic realm. How is this possible? It cannot be. No matter how amazing a chaotic realm talent is, there's no way he could kill a chaotic divine demon in a direct battle. Everyone was in disbelief. However, Jian Wushuang was still composed after killing Zhuge Yun. It was as though killing a chaotic divine demon was an insignificant thing for him. Moreover, he didn't slow down. He moved and charged into the battle beside him. Wang. A figure had moved to the side of a blue-haired lady silently. The blue-haired lady was one of the 3 chaotic divine demons from the Xiang family. She was going all out and was about to kill a half-step divine demon from Lin Mansion when the figure appeared. What? The blue-haired lady got a big scare and didn't care about killing the half-step divine demon anymore. She dodged to one side and thrusted her black spear in the direction Jian Wushuang had charged to. Your reaction is pretty impressive. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly. Moving his wrist slightly, the sword essence in his hand changed instantly. The silent strike that aimed to slice the lady through her waist changed abruptly into a strike with the overwhelming momentum of a thunderstorm. Pung! The Blood Mountain sword happened to clash with the tip of the long spear and deflect it slightly. Immediately after, Jian Wushuang took a huge stride forward before thrusting his Blood Mountain sword forward. He circled the black long spear and went for the head of the blue-haired lady directly. The blue-haired lady was astonished. However, she was quick to retract her long spear. Before Jian Wushuang could reach her head, she had pulled back the long spear to defend herself against the sword. Dang! A crisp collision sounded, and the blue-haired lady was knocked back several steps. Killing intent gleamed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. Rumble! Terrifying swords explode like collapsing mountains, and endless sword figures emerged and had the blue-haired lady completely surrounded. Shit! The blue-haired lady was flabbergasted. It was then a huge purple staff came from the side. That purple staff crashed indominantly and smashed Jian Wushuang's countless sword shadows to the brink of collapse. Huh! Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes, moved, and dodged to the side. The blue-haired lady recovered her composure, and two figures appeared beside her at the same time. Those two figures were none other than the other two chaotic divine demons, one of which was the family head of Xiang family, Xiangzong. Chapter 23:38. 1 verses 3. Are you all right? Xiangzong asked the blue-haired lady. Not a big issue. Fortunately, you guys are around. Otherwise, even if hadn't died from that strike, I'd be severely injured. Now, fear was in her eyes as she looked at Jian Wushuang. The earlier strike had indeed been dangerous. You killed Zhuge Yun first, and almost killed a divine demon realm expert from our Xiang family. Brat, although I know nothing about your background, you will definitely still die today. Xiangzong was solemn, and intense killing intent gleamed in his eyes. Definitely die? By your hand? Jian Wushuang said with contempt. I alone would naturally not be enough. However, what if 3 divine demon realm experts were to team up? Xiangzong shouted. Team up? 3 against 1. Jian Wushuang furrowed his brows. Xiangzong took a glance at the 2 people next to him and said, This brat is the greatest uncertainty on the battlefield. Only by finishing him off can we achieve the outcome we desire. Let's team up against him. All right. The 2 divine demon realm experts from Xiang family nodded. The next instant, the trio struck at the same time. The 3 divine demon realm experts turned into 3 bolts of lightning as they charged towards Jian Wushuang. Scumbags! A short distance away, Zhui Yunfeng was infuriated when he witnessed what was happening. 3 divine demon realm experts teaming up against a junior that isn't even 20 years old. The Xiang family is truly embarrassing. Shameless. Shameless. Some experts in the Lin Mansion berated. However, the 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family were unmoved. What a joke. Jian Wushuang had killed Zhuge Yun in a direct clash. Zhuge Yun was widely regarded as the #1 sword cultivator in Anzhou Prefecture previously. Although he had not reached the peak of 3rd-grade divine demon, he wasn't weak at all. Lin Taifeng and Elder Chen, who were both elite third-grade divine demons, wouldn't be confident about killing him even if they were confident of suppressing or defeating him. Yet, he had still been killed by Jian Wushuang. This was a testament that Jian Wushuang wasn't any weaker than Lin Taifeng or Elder Chen. If they were to deal with an expert of this level, they would likely not end up any better than Zhuge Yun. Teaming up was the wisest decision. However, even though the 3 divine demon realm experts from Xiang family had teamed up, Jian Wushuang didn't feel any fear. When the 3 divine demon realm experts from Xiang family struck, Jian Wushuang made his move as well. He was like a specter, and he utilized his understanding of space-time rules of order to the limits. In the blink of an eye, he clashed with the 3 divine demon realm experts. The family head of Xiang family used a long purple staff. It was filled with overwhelming strength and smashed towards Jian Wushuang. The blue-haired lady was using a long black spear. She was just like a silent, venomous snake, constantly going for Jian Wushuang's openings. The last expert was a burly old man with long hair. He was using a pair of red gloves. When clashing with Jian Wushuang directly, he was like 2 volcanoes that were constantly erupting against Jian Wushuang. Even when facing the powerful and daunting attacks of these experts, Jian Wushuang still appeared exceptionally composed. He put on a perfect display of swordsmanship. Each move looked casual and simple, but was fluid and consistent. It was especially so for the unique essence of his sword techniques. Sometimes he was fast and violent, while at other times he appeared soft and flimsy. This often threw his opponents off their tempo. His movements were even more creepy. With his space-time rules of order, the 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family couldn't keep up with him at all. When Jian Wushuang had fought Zhuge Yun moments ago, he had not shown his sword principle at all. He had been just casually swinging his sword, and yet was evenly matched against Zhuge Yun. In fact, some considered him to have an edge against Zhuge Yun. Now that he was using his full strength, he wasn't in a disadvantageous stage despite facing 3 opponents at the same time. The fighting raged on the battlefield. Jian Wushuang's battle with the 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family was equally intense. The 3 divine demon realm experts used all their strength, but still couldn't gain an upper hand against Jian Wushuang. 1 against 3, and they are evenly matched. Is this a joke? Those are 3 divine demon realm experts. When the surrounding people witnessed the battle, they were completely stupefied. The 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family weren't elites among 3rd-grade divine demons. The family head of Xiang family, Xiangzong, was only nearing the top-tier divine demons and was still a little inferior to Lin Taifeng and Elder Chen. However, this was 3 divine demon realm experts teaming up. Even Lin Taifeng and Elder Chen would have been suppressed against their coalition. Perhaps only a 2nd-grade divine demon could deal with 3 of them with ease. And now, the strength displayed by Jian Wushuang. Could he possess the battle strength of a 2nd-grade divine demon? But he's only at the chaotic realm. No one could believe what they were seeing. Indeed, if they had not seen with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed an early-stage chaotic realm could go against 3 chaotic divine demons at the same time. This wasn't possible. However, reality had proven otherwise. There's hope. My Lin family has hope. While Jian Wushuang was clashing with the 3 divine demon realm experts, those from the Lin mansion were feeling overjoyed. Lin Taifeng was especially so. Previously, he had been in despair. He had thought that the annihilation of Lin mansion was inevitable. But now, although Lin mansion was still in grave danger, the appearance of Jian Wushuang had given him a glimmer of hope. Disregarding all others, Jian Wushuang had killed a divine demon realm expert from the Zhuge family. Now, he was able to hold back 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family. This was the same as the other party losing the battle strength of 4 divine demons. Only 3 divine demon realm experts from the Zhuge family and Xiang family were free. This was 1 fewer than in the Lin mansion. The pressure that the Lin mansion had to face had decreased substantially. Quick, stop them. Stop the attacks of the Zhuge family and Xiang family. Stop them, and our Lin mansion will have hope. Lin Taifeng growled like a lunatic. Some experts from the Lin mansion had become extremely excited as well. Initially, the majority of them had seen this as a hopeless situation. Some even thought of fleeing. However, strong battle desires had risen within them once again. They could see hope now. With the divine demon realm experts holding back, they just had to stop experts below the divine demon realm from Zhuge family and Xiang family. This made it a lot more possible for Lin mansion to survive. Kill! Kill! An earth-shattering roar reverberated through the air as the men from Lin mansion started their frantic counterattacks. Seeing this, Zhuge Yuanchong found it hilarious. A last-ditch struggle? How foolish! Kill everyone in the Lin family. Exterminate them. Chapter 2339, False Reincarnation Cleave. Die! The experts from Zhuge family and Xiang family were on a killing spree, and clearly in higher spirits than those from the Lin family. Even though the Lin family had reversed her predicament in terms of divine demon realm battle strength, there were still huge differences between both parties' half-step divine demons and chaotic realms. It was especially so since Lin mansion had lost several experts at the beginning of the intense battle. Furthermore, some experts hired by Lin mansion had escaped when they started noticing things weren't going their way. Therefore, the Lin mansion was at a greater disadvantage in terms of half-step divine demons and chaotic realms than expected. In battle, it was common to see 2 to 3 similar cultivation-based cultivators attacking 1 Lin mansion expert. The only advantage Lin mansion had was the additional chaotic divine demon. The Zhuge family had arranged for 4 half-step divine demon to team up against him. This made it impossible for the additional chaotic divine demon to break away. Even though those from the Lin mansion had seen hope and had reignited their fighting spirits, the situation on the ground wasn't changing. Jian Wushuang was like a bow, and the blood mountain sword in his hand was like the arrow as he thrust it out. The razor-sharp sword light clashed against the volcano-like fists of that burly old man. The overbearing force from the collision forced Jian Wushuang, and that burly old man a step back. The next instant, Jian Wushuang moved and vanished creepily from sight. When he showed himself again, he was right next to the blue-haired lady and swinging his sword silently towards her. He had shown his mastery in sword principle. Even though he was facing 3 chaotic divine demons, he wasn't losing in any aspect. While fighting, he had seen the situations in other areas. He could tell the huge differences between both parties on the battlefield that couldn't be made up for. In terms of overall strength, the differences are too huge. Even if I kill Zhuge Yun and hold back 3 chaotic divine demons, it will probably not reverse the eventual defeat that awaits the Lin family. There's no other way. I have to take a further step. A cold, ruthless light gleamed in his eyes as he glanced at that blue-haired lady. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang's figure appeared before their eyes once again. The 3 divine demon realm experts from the Xiang family started out with the intention to kill Jian Wushuang. However, as the battle progressed, they were getting more and more fearful. And now, they weren't even confident of defeating Jian Wushuang in battle, let alone killing him. Is this brat really just an early-stage chaotic realm? The burly old man growled. He had never seen an early-stage chaotic realm that could knock him back with a single sword strike. Regardless, This brat has chosen to stand against our Xiang family. If our Xiang family can't erase him this time, and he takes note of it, no one will be able to save our Xiang family, not even the Golden Cauldron sect. Xiang Zong roared, "Kill him! We need a plan to kill him," the blue-haired lady remarked. "How do we do it?" The burly old man glanced at the blue-haired lady. The blue-haired lady and Xiang Zong quieted down. Yeah, how could they kill him? They weren't even confident about defeating him currently. How were they going to kill him? Moreover, they could tell Jian Wushuang had an extremely profound understanding of the space-time rules of order that even an ordinary third-grade divine demon wouldn't possess. In fact, even second-grade divine demon might not be at this level of attainment. With his grasp of space-time rules of order, no one probably could stop him if he intended to escape, not even with all the divine demon realm experts teaming up. At this juncture, shocking killing intent raged out from the eyes of Jian Wushuang. Immediately after, Jian Wushuang disappeared creepily before their eyes. Yes, he vanished. At the very least, they couldn't see him with their naked eyes. Even if they used their soul powers, they would barely catch a glimpse of an eerie figure. When Jian Wushuang showed himself again, he was next to the burly old man. Moreover, he slashed at the head of the burly old man at a speed that was incredibly fast. "Be careful!" Xiang Zong shouted as a warning. "Brat, don't be too full of yourself." The burly old man erupted, and his scorching red right hand smashed towards Jian Wushuang like an active giant volcano. The direct clash of the volcano and the sword shadow didn't cause any collision of strength. That sword shadow disappeared together with Jian Wushuang before the watchful eyes of the trio. "That's an illusion," the burly old man was stumped. "An illusion left behind with space-time rules of order?" Xiang Zong was equally astonished. However, his expression darkened instantly. Shit! When Xiang Zong reacted, he looked at where the blue-haired lady was. Indeed, Jian Wushuang was right in front of the blue-haired lady. At the same time, Jian Wushuang swung out his sword. Reincarnation sword principle. False. Reincarnation cleave. 1. A blurry sword light lit up and sliced towards the blue-haired lady. The sword light was unusually fast, to the point that almost no one could react to it on time. However, the blue-haired lady was a chaotic divine demon after all. Although the sudden appearance of Jian Wushuang gave her a huge shock, she reacted immediately. She thrusted the long spear forward and wanted to block the blurry sword light that had been launched by Jian Wushuang. Her eyes were fixed on that sword light. "I can make it. I can stop it," the blue-haired lady thought to herself. She could see her spear was in time to block that sword light. Just as expected, the black long spear went before that blurry sword light. Instantly, the blue-haired lady was at ease. Pung! The sword light had sliced her. As a chaotic divine demon, her holy body was extremely tough. However, it wasn't sufficient to stop this attack. In a single strike, her holy body collapsed and her consciousness was fading. Before it had even vanished completely, she was completely lost. Impossible. "I did stop it. I stopped that sword strike." The blue-haired lady wanted to scream, but couldn't enunciate her words. Soon, all signs of life deserted her. Even in death, the blue-haired lady couldn't understand how she had been killed by that strike. She had stopped that sword strike. At the very least, that's what she believed. In reality, she hadn't. False reincarnation cleave. Illusory and unfathomable. Jian Wushuang remained scarily cold while staring at the despairing blue-haired lady. It had been 19 years since he had been reincarnated. In those 19 years, he hadn't just been thinking of ways to recover to his cultivation base. In addition, his understanding of rules of order and advancements in sword principle had not lagged behind. On the contrary, they had improved by leaps and bounds. For example, in the aspect of space-time rules of order, he had made significant breakthroughs compared to in his previous life. He was just about able to create illusions using space-time rules of order. Even though they were illusions, and some experts could see through them with a single glance, it was more than sufficient to fool an ordinary chaotic divine demon. Moreover, in the aspect of the space-time sword principle, he had created his first move, Snow Cleave, Chapter 2340, Defeat. Jian Wushuang's improvement in the aspect of space-time had been rapid. However, his understanding of reincarnation rules of order in his previous life was even greater. Moreover, he had been through the reincarnation passage and been reincarnated. This had let him experience the mystery of reincarnation and was of unbelievable great help in his understanding of the reincarnation rules of order. As a result, his grasp of the reincarnation rules of order was the greatest it had ever been. His application of reincarnation power was several times stronger than in his previous life. In the aspect of sword principle, he had created the first move of reincarnation sword principle, the samsara. At 19 years old, he had created the second move. The second move was none other than the false reincarnation cleave. This was a sword principle that infused the reincarnation power. This move wasn't just strong. The more important thing was the illusion within the sword principle. The sword principle was the sword shadow that the blue-haired lady had seen previously. She had thought she could block that sword shadow with her long spear, and she could have succeeded. However, unbeknownst to her, it was just an illusory shadow. The real strike was hidden before the illusion, a completely invisible strike. It was that strike that had killed the blue-haired lady. This blue-haired lady was the second chaotic divine demon that Jian Wushuang had killed in this battle. This time, he had done so when he was going up against 3 chaotic divine demons at the same time. How can this be possible? This Xiangzong and the burly old man were shocked. They had seen with their own eyes how Jian Wushuang had killed the blue-haired lady, and yet there was nothing they could do. Now, after killing the blue-haired lady, Jian Wushuang's cold gaze locked down on them. Whoosh! Jian Wushuang struck once again. This time, his target was the burly old man. Weng! A brilliant sword light illuminated the area. That brilliant sword light was mesmerizing and intoxicating. When he swung out that strike, even the void space was affected as ripples reverberated through. The surrounding space-time seemed to have come to a halt at that moment. Space-time sword principle, Snow Cleave, Arg! The burly old man exploded with rage and punched relentlessly. However, the sword light that Jian Wushuang had released was exceptionally strange. It flashed past his fist and landed on his holy body directly. The burly old man was strong in offense and incredible with his holy body. However, after taking this strike, he spewed a large mouthful of blood and his complexion paled instantly. Fortunately, he wasn't killed directly by Jian Wushuang. Retreat! Retreat now! Xiangzong shouted in a hurry. The burly old man wasn't silly. In the first instant, he retreated frantically and opened up a distance from Jian Wushuang. Moreover, he quickly met up with Xiangzong. Both of them had fixed their eyes on Jian Wushuang from a long distance away. The burly old man was at a loss for words. Moments ago, he had killed that blue-haired lady with a single swing. Now, he was injured in a single strike. How strong was he? He's too strong? Perhaps his battle prowess has not reached the level of a second-grade divine demon. His sword principle is even more frightening than any second-grade divine demon I've seen, Xiangzong commented. Both of them were shocked and wouldn't dare to make a move on Jian Wushuang again. As for Jian Wushuang, he stared daggers at them. The next moment, he charged into the battle beside him. The battle between the half-step divine demons and chaotic realm experts was reaching a critical stage. Lin Mansion was clearly at an absolute disadvantage. One could even say they were doomed for destruction. Each Lin Mansion's expert had to face 2 or 3 experts of similar level at the same time. For example, Jian Wushuang's father had to face 2 half-step divine demons. Looking at the situation, defeat seemed to be set in stone. However, Jian Wushuang had appeared now. First, he appeared above Zhui Yunfeng, and a blinding sword light illuminated the area. The half-step divine demons that were engaged in an intense battle with Zhui Yunfeng couldn't escape in time before the blinding light penetrated their bodies and killed them. Immediately after, Jian Wushuang vanished. Xiao, 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 xiao. Sword lights were appearing across several battles in the Lin Mansion. Jian Wushuang's movement was extremely unique. Each time he vanished and reappeared, a sword light shot out. No one could stop the sword light, regardless if it was chaotic realm experts or half-step divine demons. No one could take a strike from Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was killing an expert with each swing. After several dozen cycles of vanishing and reappearing, he swung out several dozen strikes and killed several dozen experts from Zhuge family and Xiang family. All of this happened in several instances and took no longer than a single breath of time. Within a single breath of time, he killed several dozen experts. If this carried on, retreat. Everyone from the Xiang family, retreat immediately. Xiang Zong gave his orders instantly. His face was flushed as he shouted to rush the experts from Xiang family. At the same time, he was filled with fear. Monster. This brat is definitely a monster. He isn't a simple monster, and not just a god of death. The speed he is killing at is too fast. In several moments, several dozens of experts have fallen. My Xiang Zong accounted for 1/3 of the casualties. If we allow him to carry on slaughtering, our Xiang family will definitely be annihilated by them. Even we might not survive. The burly old man was shocked. If this was the case for the mighty chaotic divine demon, the half-step divine demons and chaotic realm experts were probably scared out of wits. When they heard the orders from Xiang Zong, those in the Xiang family chose to escape without hesitation. All of them were retreating rapidly, fearing they would be targeted by the god of death. The Xiang family retreated from the battle under the leadership of Xiang Zong and the burly old man. This left the remaining Zhuge family completely flustered. Damn it! Damn it! Zhuge Yuanchong roared furiously and couldn't vent the endless anger that was within him. However, as the leader of a family and a divine demon realm expert, he knew what the most important thing was at that time. With Xiang family evacuating, Zhuge family could still have an advantage in the number of half-step divine demons and chaotic realm experts. However, as Jian Wushuang continued his indiscriminate slaughtering, this advantage was being chipped away. If they continued like this, Zhuge Yuanchong was certain that the doomsday of the Zhuge family would arrive soon. Evacuate! Evacuate now! Zhuge Yuanchong swung his hand and retreated through the air outside of Lin Mansion. The remaining experts from the Zhuge family and those few from Dongzuo's sect didn't hesitate. In just moments, numerous experts that had fought their way into Lin Mansion had been erased cleanly, leaving just their corpses behind. Chapter 2341. Center of attention in the Lin Mansion, corpses were everywhere and blood stained the entire ground. In fact, even the sky was tinted a shade of red. The pungent smell of blood was nauseating and filled every corner in the Lin Mansion. The blood that was shed could have formed a river. Luckily, the killings had stopped in the Lin mansion. At the top of a building, two chaotic realm experts from the Lin mansion looked down at the surrounding scene. They couldn't help but pale. Who would have thought that we would survive this time, and that our Lin mansion would manage to stop the joint attack from the Zhuge family and Xiang family? I couldn't believe it either. When the Xiang family showed up, I thought our Lin family was over. Yet both of them remained silent, but turned to face the same direction at the same time. It wasn't just the two of them. The various Lin Mansion's experts that survived were all looking in the same direction. In the air, a man was standing, a young man who looked way younger than the rest, and was carrying a sword. He stood there coldly, and the aura around him was kept in check perfectly. He didn't say a word, but the atmosphere froze. Everything around him lost its luster. The entire Lin mansion was shrouded in deathly silence. If there was a sound, it was the trickle of fresh blood that was dripping off the long sword carried by the young man. The crowd felt unprecedented shock and fear. Shock because he had displayed a strength that didn't match his age. Fear because he had committed a massacre within that short period. Everything had happened in a moment. Within 2 breaths of time, over 40 experts from the Zhuge family and Xiang family had died in his hands. In comparison, the total number of experts from the Xiang family and Zhuge family that had died over the entire battle was only 60. Among those that were killed, 2 dead chaotic divine demons were killed by that young man with the sword. He's no different from the god of death. A half-step divine, demon exclaimed. However, he shut his mouth for good immediately after. The other experts from the Lin mansion gasped in astonishment. They knew Jian Wushuang. It was also because they knew him that it was so hard for them to accept it. They knew Jian Wushuang was just 19 this year. No matter how talented an ordinary cultivator was, it would be incredible to exchange blows with a chaotic realm. What about Jian Wushuang? Killing peak chaotic realms was like killing chickens to him. Killing half-step divine demons was like slaughtering dogs to him. He had even killed chaotic divine demons. How unbelievable was that? Senior Sister Hua. The 2 half-step divine demons from Thunder Sound sect gathered beside Fire Fairy. One of them wanted to say something, but ended up keeping quiet. I know what you guys are thinking. I'm feeling the same way. It's unbelievable. Fire Fairy commented, and felt unprecedentedly astonished by Jian Wushuang. Senior Sister Hua, you are more experienced and knowledgeable about the talented disciples in Thunder Sound sect. Could the few most demon-like disciples in our Thunderfire sect be a match for him? The person asked. Match him? What rights do our disciples have to compare with him? Fire Fairy forced out a bitter smile. He's an early-stage chaotic realm that has reached great achievement in Sword Principle, mastering space-time rules of order and reincarnation rules of order. Moreover, his grasp is extremely profound. It is especially so regarding the reincarnation rules of order. If I'm right, his understanding of reincarnation rules of order could even match a first-grade divine demon's. More importantly, he could easily kill a chaotic divine demon when he's just an early-stage chaotic realm. There won't be a second unprecedented monster like him in the entire Wuxia Baron region, let alone our Thunder Sound sect. His talents are just like his name suggests, unparalleled in the world. At the very least, no one in the Wuxia Baron region could be a match for his talents. Fire Fairy was extremely solemn as she spoke. Although this was just her appraisal of Jian Wushuang, she was certain she hadn't exaggerated at all. Within the Wuxia Baron region, it was impossible to find a second person that could be compared with Jian Wushuang. Even in the greater absolute beginning divine world, one might not find a similar monster to him, let alone in the Wuxia Baron region. The two half-step divine demons from Thunderfire sect gulped down their saliva upon hearing Fire Fairy. They couldn't keep their composure any longer. Center of attention, Jian Wushuang was undoubtedly the focus of everyone. However, he looked extremely calm before the watchful eyes of the crowd. He had killed lots of people in this battle. One could even say he had started a massacre. However, the number of people he had killed over close to 100,000 years in his previous life easily dwarfed his kills today. A massacre like this was nothing and wouldn't affect his emotions at all. With this, the battle had concluded. He was still looking icy cold and remained exceptionally calm. He put away his blood mountain sword in his Qian Kuan ring before looking for his father and went towards him. "Father!" Jian Wushuang looked at Zhui Yunfeng and extended his soul power. He realized Zhui Yunfeng had only suffered light injuries and wouldn't be in any danger. It was then that he felt relieved. As for Zhui Yunfeng, he was staring blankly at Jian Wushuang. He was feeling a myriad of emotions. There was fear, ecstasy, and disbelief. Was this young man before him really his son? Killing peak chaotic realm and half-step divine demons like he was slaughtering chickens and dogs? Was this young man who killed two powerful chaotic divine demons really his son? Since when had his son grown to be so powerful? "Father, if you are all right, let's head for the Purple Virtue Hall first." "Mother should be feeling really anxious now," said Jian Wushuang. "Yeah, you are right." It was then that Zhui Yunfeng reacted. "Let's go. We will look for your mother at Purple Virtue Hall first." Upon finishing his words, Zhui Yunfeng and Jian Wushuang headed towards Purple Virtue Hall. "Brother Zhui Wushuang," in his tone that was slight fear and respect. The one who spoke was none other than the family head of the Lin family, Lin Taifeng. Lin Taifeng was an elite third-grade divine demon. However, even he was astounded by the strength Jian Wushuang had shown. "Uncle Lin, we are going to see my mother at Purple Virtue Hall first. Let's talk in detail later," said Jian Wushuang. "All right, you should." Lin Taifeng nodded and wouldn't interfere. Jian Wushuang and Zhui Yunfeng left the place. However, those that were part of the intense battle previously were still feeling stupefied. They couldn't react fully to the situation. Chapter 2342. Gratitude Wang. The door to the hall opened and two figures darted in. Those two were naturally Jian Wushuang and Zhui Yunfeng. "Husband Shuang." Seeing the two approaching figures, Luo Xinqin finally heaved a sigh of relief. She felt joy and rushed over. "Xinqin, we are fine. We are fine now." Zhui Yunfeng hurried forward and put his arms over Luo Xinqin. Before the crowd, Luo Xinqin quickly broke free and walked towards Jian Wushuang. "Shuang, are you all right?" "Mother, rest assured. Although father has suffered light injuries, it shouldn't be a major issue. As for me, I'm not injured," Jian Wushuang replied with a smile. "That's great. That's great." Luo Xinqin finally felt at ease. "Everyone." Jian Wushuang surveyed his surroundings and still saw many disciples and family members who were anxious and worried. He shouted in a hearty tone, "Those from the Zhuge family are defeated. Lin Mansion is fine now. We are fine now. Did we make it? Yes. The commotion has died down. The battle is over." "Ha! I knew it. The meager Zhuge family definitely couldn't do anything to our Lin family." Ecstasy took over, and many young disciples even jumped for joy. Since the beginning of the battle, they had been living in fear. They had been fearful that they couldn't take the attacks of the Zhuge family, and that their last resort would be to escape from Lin Mansion. However, it appeared that they wouldn't have to go to that stage. As such, they were naturally overjoyed. However, some chaotic realm around knew the series of events of the battle. Therefore, when they looked at Jian Wushuang, they were grateful and respectful. Jian Wushuang took a glance at Lin Tao and the man in black attire. Immediately, they looked over and greeted Jian Wushuang. Thinking back, they hadn't seen Jian Wushuang as anything when they'd first seen him. Although both of them had remained in the Purple Virtue Hall as guards throughout the battle today, they were aware of the entire battle through their soul power. They knew clearly the reason why the Lin family still existed after this battle, and the people in the Purple Virtue Hall wouldn't have to go to their last resort. It was because of this man before them who was even younger than them. To think they had looked down on Jian Wushuang previously, with his own strength, he had forcefully turned the tables around and killed 2 divine demon realm experts. Moreover, within 2 breaths of time, he had massacred dozens of experts and sent chills down the spines of the experts from the 2 families. It was because of this that Lin Mansion remained intact now. Regardless of his talents or strength, Lin Tao, the man in black attire whom everyone had seen in the battle with their soul power, was impressed and convinced. "Father, Mother, let's leave this place," said Jian Wushuang. "Yeah." Shui Yunfeng nodded his head. Soon, the family of 3 left Purple Virtue Hall and headed for the courtyard in which they were living. As for the rest of the Lin family, they cleaned up the mess of the major battle. Although the Lin family had survived this grueling battle, lots of experts had fallen. The Lin Mansion didn't celebrate wildly. All that was left was a bitterly cold environment. This had nothing more to do with Jian Wushuang. At night, the Lin Mansion went quiet. The corpses of experts and the river of blood that ran through Lin Mansion had been cleaned up. Many experts of Lin Mansion and a few from Thunder Sound Sect, along with some invited experts, had gathered in the meeting hall for a discussion. In the previous meeting, Lin Yan had dragged Jian Wushuang to an inconspicuous corner. In that corner, he hadn't have any rights to speak up. However, in the meeting just a few days later, Jian Wushuang was seated at the very front, next to his father, Zhu Yunfeng. As for Fire Fairy from Thunder Sound Sect, she sat opposite Jian Wushuang. When Jian Wushuang took his seat, everyone's attention focused on him. This included people like Fire Fairy. They had a deep curiosity for this unbelievable, unprecedented monster. They wanted to know how Jian Wushuang could kill chaotic divine demons when he was just an early-stage chaotic realm. Moreover, he had killed 2 chaotic divine demons. Nonetheless, they kept their thoughts to themselves, and no one dared to take the initiative to ask the question. When everyone had arrived, Lin Taifeng stood up, clasped his fist to his palm, and announced solemnly, "This time, Lin Mansion is grateful for everyone's help in the face of the major crisis. It is because of you guys that we made it out. I'm truly grateful. It is especially so for Fire Fairy and others from Thunder Sound Sect, and also Mad Lion." Lin Taifeng thanked them individually. "You are too courteous. In this battle, our Thunder Sound Sect wasn't much help," said Fire Fairy. She was just being humble. Although the main credit was owed to Jian Wushuang, her Thunder Sound Sect had contributed greatly. "I've received your fees, and naturally have to fulfill your request. Lin family head, you just have to give me the remuneration as promised. Anything else will be unnecessary." Mad Lion had a different attitude towards this. "Mad Lion, you can be assured that my Lin family won't give anything less." Lin Taifeng chuckled and looked towards Zhu Yunfeng and Jian Wushuang. He took a deep breath and became visibly more serious than before. "Brother Zhua and my dear nephew, the main reason why my Lin Mansion has survived is because of your help. I, Lin Taifeng, and my Lin family will never forget this gratitude. Please accept my thanks." Upon finishing his words, Lin Taifeng bowed towards Shui Yinfeng and Jian Wushuang before the crowd. Brother Lin, this won't do. Please get up. Shui Yinfeng hurried forward to help Lin Taifeng up. You and I are brothers in life and death. When your Lin family is in danger, it's only natural for me to help out. There's no need for this. Yeah, Uncle Lin, this is just a small matter. Don't worry about it, Jian Wushuang added. I won't dwell on this. Lin Taifeng shook his head and added, From today onwards, my Lin family and I will never hesitate in anything you request as long as it is something within our means. Brother Lin, you are being too courteous again. Shui Yinfeng was visibly a little discontented. Ha ha! Lin Taifeng laughed heartily. As for Jian Wushuang, he had a strange expression. I still require lots of cultivation resources for my Punisher god. Although I asked my father, I still couldn't get everything I needed. As for the Lin family, Jian Wushuang had an idea sprouting in his mind.